Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
The force could not be any stronger with this guy. Aaron Judge had another multi-hit game yesterday, including another home run. Today, the fate of the series is at stake, and to complete this trilogy, Will Warren toes the slab for the Bombers. He'll look to bounce back and pitch his team to a win as the New York Yankees host the Tampa Bay Rays on a Sunday afternoon at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hey everyone, welcome to Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. I'm Chris Sheeran, and may the 4th be with you. We've got a rubber game on deck. The Yankees took the opener, then the Rays got even yesterday despite more heroics, as we mentioned, from Aaron Judge. A win today takes the series. Do or do not. There is no try. With that, let's get right to the lineups. For the dark side, I mean the Rays, they snapped a 4-game losing streak yesterday, but they still scored just 6 runs in their last 5 games combined. First baseman Jonathan Aranda cleans up. He was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts in the opener, but he still owns an OPS over 900 this season. For the Yankees, it's a little bit of a different look. J.C. Escara catches and bats 6th, and with Anthony Volpe getting the day off, Oswald Peraza starts at shortstop alongside Pablo Reyes at second base. But batting second, it's the Jedi Master himself, Aaron Judge. He's batting .432, and his hitting streak is up to a baker's dozen of 13 games, a stretch over which he's hitting .500. It barely took one at-bat for Judge to make an impact yesterday as he drove the first pitch he saw from Rays starter Zach Littell out to right field into the short porch for a Han Solo homer. It was his home run number 11 for the captain. He's slugging an otherworldly .792, which is extra impressive when you consider the MLB average for OPS just over 700. Here's another stat to chewy on. That was Judge's 6th first-inning home run of the season and the 71st of his career. He's already tied for 4th most in Yankees history. Since 2016, Judge has more homers in the opening frame than anyone else, 2 ahead of Nolan Arenado. Paul Goldschmidt, his teammate, is 3rd on that list with 67. Yankees had a scare in the 8th inning yesterday when Anthony Volpe dove for a ground ball and came up in some pain. He stayed in the game, however. Post-game X-rays came back clean. He's not in today's lineup, though. Earlier, Aaron Boone gave an update on the shortstop.
X-rays, MRI, good news. He's sore today, but I feel like we're probably in a good spot. We'll see. Kind of day-to-day right now. He'll probably do some hitting today, see how that is. Strength and everything's real good, though, so I would say overall encouraging news.
He had said in the clubhouse last night that he heard a pop. Was there any type of a diagnosis?
No, it's a little unclear in there. He's got some stuff that they feel like's older stuff, so hard to know exactly. But, you know, he's definitely a little cranky in the shoulder today.
Let's take a look at the starting pitching matchup, and it's the key to the game brought to you by your local Kia dealers. For the Rays, it's the hard-throwing Taj Bradley, who's 2-2 with an ERA just over 4.5. And for the Yankees, Will Warren, still a young Padawan, will get another chance to sharpen his Jedi skill set. Facing the Orioles, Warren got 2 quick outs in the 2nd inning, then allowed the next 2 to reach, including an RBI double. In the 3rd, back-to-back walk set up the big blow, and that was a 3-run homer by Ryan O'Hearn over the high wall in right field. But Warren finished on a better note, striking out 3 in a row following the home run. He lasted just 3 1/3, gave up 4 runs on 6 hits, walked a pair, and struck out 5. It was his 3rd start of the year of no more than 4 innings. One thing's for sure, stuff hasn't been an issue for Warren. He throws his 4-seam fastball 1/3 of the time, and opponents are batting just 138 against that pitch. That's more than 100 points better than the MLB average. He faced the Rays 2 weeks ago, and because of a high pitch count, he didn't make it out of the 2nd. But the Yankees still won that game. Time for a quick break on Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. We've got a jam-packed show. coming your way. Up next, it's a Mariners reunion. Dave Valley and Jeff Nelson join the show, so stick around on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Yankees batting practice today is presented by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today. Chris Sheeran back here on BP TV, driven by Audi with a little bit of a reunion. A couple of former teammates here, Dave Valley, Jeff Nelson. And Dave, I want to start with you here. Your first impressions of the sidewinding righty when you met him in spring training?
Well, he was a big man, and after catching him a couple of times in the bullpen, I said, hey, this guy's got a chance to be a really good reliever. Very uncomfortable for right-handed hitters, and boy, he ended up having a fantastic career. Yeah,
and let's go back in the time machine, Jeff. April 16th, 1992. This is your catcher. You're making your debut in Chicago against the White Sox, facing a future Hall of Famer in Frank Thomas. What was going through your mind when you made your debut, buddy?
Well, for one, spend 7 years in the minor leagues, and it took a long time to get there. And once I got there, I didn't pitch in the Milwaukee series because that's where the Mariners started out the season. And then we get to Chicago, but I couldn't have a better catcher and a better veteran guy than Dave Valley behind the plate. He taught me a lot my first year. I needed those veteran guys to teach me the way to go. Brian Holman was another big one in my career, along with Dave Valley. But facing Frank Thomas, Steve Sachs was the first guy that I ever faced in the big leagues. They had the fan meter. That's been when the White Sox had a good crowd. And then all of a sudden, Frank Thomas comes up to the plate, and I was like, well, I have never faced someone this big in the minor leagues. So, so it was an incredible feeling. And that was a time that I think we almost came back in that game. I pitched the 7th and the 8th inning, and I might have been a little pudgy right-hander back then. And but Val got me through.
Well, and then Nelly stopped eating junk food, and all of a sudden he slimmed down. But yeah, that was quite a lineup that the Chicago White Sox had. I think George Bell was in there as well, Lance Johnson. But it was a very tough lineup, and a very tough lineup to face in your very first outing as a major leaguer.
That was his first MLB inning. Steve Sachs, Robin Ventura, Frank Thomas, and George Bell. There you go. And Frank Thomas, in his career against Nelly, 5 for 31. That's 40 plate appearances, by the way. And Nelly, you struck him out 11 times. In fact, how about this, Jeff? I want to get your reaction to this. The 2 most at-bats in your career in the regular season against righties that you faced that are now Hall of Famers, Frank Thomas, Pudge Rodriguez, and they are a combined 9 for 57 and hitting 157 against you. That's pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, Pudge got me in Texas when I was a Ranger, actually, and I forgot where. Maybe he was with the Tigers, and he hit me out of right field. I wasn't healthy, so I'll just say that was an excuse. But, I knew going into Chicago that I would probably have Frank. If we have a 4-game series, I probably had him all 4 games. And with Lou Piniella there, it was a no-brainer. Even with Joe Torre, I knew who that I was going to face every single time. Then with Texas, you throw Juan Gonzalez into that mix with Pudge. I knew I had these guys, and it was exciting. But it all boiled down to, 92, my rookie season. I got lucky because we weren't very good. I think we lost 98 games, and it was me and Mike Schooler at the back end, and I got to close a little bit at the end. And Dan Worthen was our pitching coach, and this doesn't happen to a lot of rookies. He came to me right when I got to Milwaukee, and he said, listen, he says, you're going to have some tough times, you're going to have some good times, but just relax. You're not going down. And that's not often said to anybody that makes it to the big leagues, that, hey, you're not going to go down. So that relaxed me a little bit. And I didn't have to keep looking over my shoulder like a lot of players do, not just back then, but nowadays. But I had some really good veterans. Val, remember Jay Buhner and Randy Johnson, maybe the 2 toughest guys to get to know on the team. I went to spring training, big league camp, I think 90 or 91 was my first camp. And those 2 guys were a must that I needed to try to be friends with because they were very intimidating on young players.
Dave, he brought up, go ahead.
No, I got to bring up something. Yeah. You mentioned Jay Buhner. So the thing about Jay that cracks me up. So Nelly on Halloween would dress up as a Yankee and make sure that he wore all of his rings to Jay's house for the party. And it just irked Jay like nothing ever before.
Well, he talked about having you behind the plate for his debut and how lucky he was to have a veteran like you back there. When you had someone making their debut like Nelly, what was the advice that you would give them when they took the mound?
Well, I'm hoping that I did this for Nelly, because one of the things that I always tried to do whenever a guy was making his major league debut, after the warm-ups and they're getting ready, I'd run out there and go, "How are you feeling?" And I would say, "Now take a step back and just take a look around, because you've earned this moment." It's a special moment. Anytime somebody gets to the big leagues and makes their debut, there's a lot of thousands, tens of thousands of hours that have gone into that. So, Nelly, I hope I did that for you, to make you just pause and go, I'm here. I'm in the big leagues.
Yeah, you did. It was great, because I remember you coming out and saying that, and saying, "How do you feel?" Val's a big target, and he was such a great catcher, and it was very comfortable for me to make my debut and have him behind the plate. You know, I like catchers that move a lot. Val was one of those guys that moved a lot. He knew my out pitch. I threw to him in spring training, so it wasn't like that far removed for when I came up and made my debut. So it was very easy. If you have a young catcher behind there, it might have been more difficult. But Val was a veteran, and he taught me a lot. Like I mentioned, him and Brian Holman were probably big influences in my career early.
Well, the one thing about Nelly, right? So now we're hearing all the new craze of this thing called a sweeper.
Right. That's
Nelly
what I was going to say
had
next.
the
Yes.
sweeper.
He was the originator.
And for a right-handed hitter, I faced him a couple of times. Very uncomfortable because of his delivery from the sidearm. Just made a lot of right-handed hitters. As you mentioned, Pudge and Frank Thomas were some of the best hitters in the game of baseball at that time.
Now, we talked about yesterday Ben Rice opening up his stance. Would opening up your stance against somebody like Nelly help you as a righty?
Well, he had, the sweeper going one way, and then that heavy sinker that he could run in on your hand. So it was like, I'm going to try to guess, and hopefully he makes a mistake with the fastball out over the plate. Because the other times when he has a good sweeper, you don't have a chance.
Nelly, we talked about your success, about Hall of Fame righties. By the way, Hall of Fame righties who are your contemporaries, you pitched to a .220 batting average against.
Amazing.
Against all of them. This guy, though, he hit 500 off you. He was 1 for 2.
How deep did you do research to find that out?
I was with Texas, and I think he went the other way. He got a base hit off of me the other way.
He remembers everything. It's amazing.
I know. Well, everybody does. I don't know somebody's name that I just met about 2 minutes ago, but I remember all that stuff.
All right,
so true.
I have 2 former Mariners here. Let's talk about another Hall of Famer, a lefty. You saw him early on in his career. Nelly, you saw him a little bit later. But give me your first impressions, first you, Dave, of Ken Griffey Jr.
For me, when I think of Junior, I think of the very first day he got back to Seattle when he was signing. So he was 17 years old. And I'll never forget, me and Harold Reynolds were sitting in the dugout because we wanted to come out and see this kid that, we had all this hype about him. And we're watching him take BP, and all of a sudden we both look at each other going, oh, my gosh, somebody get this kid a uniform and just let him play today, because you could tell just by the way he carried himself, the confidence. And the way I explain that confidence is he grew up in Cincinnati with the Big Red Machine. Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan, and he's going, Dave Valley and Harold Reynolds, who are you guys? I know all the Hall of Famers. So there wasn't the awe factor for Junior when he showed up at the age of 19 years old. He just felt like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
And Nelly, how about you? What were your thoughts on Ken Griffey when you played with him?
Well, I actually played with him in the minor leagues in A-ball in San Bernardino when he was 18, and I think he got called up that same year. It was I think it was 88. He got called up in 89. Incredible. He was a guy that had so much fun playing the game, and pretty similar to what Aaron Judge is doing out here. He's making it look way too easy, and it's just silly the way he's treating pitchers. Well, that's the way Ken Griffey Jr. was. He was the best player I've ever played with and ever played against. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone quite like Jr. A great teammate, had fun, didn't care who pitched. He didn't even want to see who was coming in the game. He didn't shag very often, but he was one of the best center fielders, if not the best center fielder. And as far as swinging the bat, he was just incredible. And he was a friend. We all hung out. I mean, we all lived in Seattle. We had Val, Randy, Griffey, and Buhner. We all lived close to each other, and we spent a lot of time in the winter either playing golf, riding four-wheelers, on the jet skis, whatever it was. So we were a very close-knit bunch back there in Seattle.
Yeah, he was 2 for 3 against you and his. I did all the research.
Well, he hit me. He got a home run. Okay. He hit a home run off me, which was I struck him out. I had him 0-2, and I threw a fastball right down the middle of the plate. and it got called for a ball. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And he even smiled. And Val knows this. He has the umpires in his back pocket because he doesn't sign autographs until the last day of the series. And he won't sign for umpires until they give him calls. If they don't give him calls, he's not signing for these guys.
Wow.
He held them hostage. Absolutely.
He didn't need the help, that's for sure. Guys, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. Dave Valley, Jeff Nelson. We really appreciate the time always, Nelly. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, got to take another break here on Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. Coming up, we go down on the farm for a look at the Rail Riders' new digs. Keep it locked in right here. There is rain in the forecast for the Bronx. The Yankees just announced that they do not intend to start the game on the field, so keep it here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app for more updates as they become available. In the meantime, a quick update on some of the Yankees' top hitting prospects. George Lombard Jr. is 8 for 20 with 4 doubles and 2 stolen bases this week. Spencer Jones hit a pair of home runs to give him 9 on the season. That's tied for the second most in the minors. And Everson Pereira has 3 home runs in his last 2 games. Pereira is at AAA, and this season he and the rest of his Scranton Wilkes-Barre teammates arrived to find a new clubhouse. A major offseason renovation brought major league quality facilities to the highest level of the minors, and our friends at Homegrown recently got a behind-the-scenes tour.
What is up, everyone? I am Caleb Miller. I am the assistant clubhouse manager here at PNC Field, home of the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders, and welcome to our brand new, gorgeous clubhouse.
First few times you walk through it, you get turned around. You don't know where you are. You need to find like certain markers from the old version of it to give you an idea of, all right, where are my feet now? Is this new space? Is this old space?
If we come to our left over here, we've got our brand new batting tunnels. They just blew this all out this season and got 2 brand new tunnels. Absolutely gorgeous. The guys are loving it. Got some new couches in there. Love the lounge, chill back, just relax.
So I do all of the video and the travel for the team. So like during the games here, I sit here, I watch the game on these cameras and I cut everything, chart it all from here, get to watch, you know, players play. And basically everything that I do here during the game, it cuts off of these computers and goes through to all of those computers. So guys can come in, they can take seats down the line, they can watch whatever they need to watch, whether it's film from our games, whether it's film from on the opposing team. Like, we make sure everything gets cut up for the advanced work so that guys can see whatever they need to see.
And to our right, we've got one of my favorite parts, absolute favorites. It's our brand new kitchen area, team dining area. Got our team lounge area. They can watch whatever they want, any game imaginable, anything on TV. Can eat up all the food that they desire, make sure they're nice and taken care of. They absolutely love it. The biggest thing for me is how spacious it is. Huge, huge upgrade to what we were used to last season. Went from a quarter of this space to a much, much bigger space, which is huge, huge for me.
What we got here is about 3 times the space. We've got a beautiful turf area for guys to come in and they can foam roll on it, they can run on it, they can do daily movement prep on it. And this week we've had 2 rainouts, 2 doubleheaders, lots of cold weather. For them to have this open space to come in and do what they need to do to get done, it's easy to come in and get as much work as we need to in here.
Keep coming this way. Right on our right up here, we've got our meeting room, or as in our org, we call it the war room, where they're getting ready for war. They're just getting ready for game day, ready for battle. And this is our home staff locker room. So that's where our coaching staff, they'll go about their business, get prepped, get ready for the day, everything of those sorts. I know I've said it a couple times now, but this is my absolute favorite part. We have our equipment room here where we can just keep everything perfectly organized, whether it's hats or undershirts, team merch, Yankee merch, you name it. We've got it in here, and it is nice and tidy. So if a guy comes to us, hey, can I get an extra large in this? You can just grab it, send them on their way, and they can go about their business. And of course, this is the bowl. This is the primary locker room. This is where the guys will hang out, go about their day-to-day lives, and Got ping pong table, of course. We'll have a blast there each and every day. We got brand new lighting in here. It just makes it give off a more bright, vibrant mood. I got brand new chairs all around. It's just, and new rugs. It just overall looks like a better and big league clubhouse, if you will. It looks like a AAA clubhouse, and I absolutely love it. It looks fabulous. The guys are loving it so far as well.
Any reaction that we get that uses the word elite or top notch or big league, like, you know you've done it right. It's just remarkable how night and day it is.
One last break here on Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. We wrap things up after this as we move closer to the series finale between the Yanks and Rays. Stick around, yes, in the Gotham Sports app. Today's injury report brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital. We heard from Aaron Boone earlier. X-rays and the MRI on Anthony Volpe came back okay. He's still a little sore, so he's not in the starting lineup today. With 2 more home runs yesterday, Yankees now have 56 for the season. That's their most through 33 games in franchise history. If they hit 1 homer today in game number 34, they'll keep pace with the 2003 Bombers. If they hit 2, the record start will continue. Some other things to watch for. Yandy Diaz walked twice yesterday, and he has an OPS well of over 900 over his last 10 games, and his Rays have fared pretty well at Yankee Stadium recently. For the Yanks, Aaron Judge has more hits at this point of the season than any other Yankee ever, and the Bombers still lead the American League in run differential. That's going to do it for BPTV. Coming up next, the pregame show, Bob Lorenz, Dave Valley, Jack Curry, and Meredith reporting from the stadium. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon on Yes and streaming on the Gotham Sports app.
It is May the 4th, and that means it's Star Wars Day in the Bronx. Jedi Master Giancarlo Stanton gets the bobblehead treatment. But in addition to the dark side, the Bombers might be battling the weather today. Let's get you ready as the New York Yankees and Tampa Bay Rays meet in a Sunday matinee at Yankee Stadium. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz, Dave Valley, and Jack Curry with you. Final game of this 3-game series will start in a rain delay, which makes perfect sense because Dave's in town. You just want.
I'm a catcher. We always take the blame.
you just wanted to open some more baseball card packs, right?
I can't wait.
So as we get our Hyundai opening comment going into today's game, Yanks still have a chance to win the series here, JC.
Yeah, the standings tell you the Yankees are atop of the American League East right now, and the Yankees will tell you that's where they expect to be all season. To do that, though, you have to beat the teams in your division. So today is a day where the Yankees need to finish what you started by winning a series against the Rays. Their last series against the Orioles, they lost 2 one-run games to a team they feel they're better than. They feel they're better than the Rays. I think they have to go out there and whatever Star Wars tricks they have to use, because, Bob, I don't have any Star Wars vernacular I can go to, use those to get a win.
Yeah, they've got to go right after the Rays here this afternoon. Yesterday was very un-Yankee-like. No walks, 2 home runs, only 5 hits. They just really never got anything going, and they need to do that again here this afternoon against Bradley.
All right, we'll see if they can do that. Meantime, let's get it out to the stadium right now. Meredith Marakovitz standing by with the Clubhouse Report presented by your local Ford stores. And Meredith, you're in the booth. Let's start with the weather. And just remember, whatever happens today, Dave Valley is willing to take the blame. So we got that going for us.
Well, he might have to, because this one doesn't look great today. Obviously, the tarp is on the field behind me. I already noted the fact that this one is not going to start on time. In speaking with some individuals around the stadium in the know, they did say that the rain was supposed to let up around 2 or 3 o'clock. So they do believe there's a window, but obviously the weather could change from now until then. But, Bob, I'm going to choose to be optimistic and hope that the Yankees do indeed play baseball this afternoon. If they aren't able to get this one in, the Rays are back in town at the end of July. Now, if and when they play this one, you are not going to see Anthony Volpe in the lineup, and that brings us to today's injury report brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Really a scary moment for Anthony Volpe in yesterday's game. He was trying to make a play in the field here, as you'll see, and he automatically grabs that left shoulder. He told me me after the game that he felt a pop in the shoulder. He did have an X-ray and an MRI, according to Aaron Boone. Both of those came back clean. Volpe would actually stay in the game, but Aaron Boone said he's going to try to stay away from him today. He's very sore today, even though it does not appear as though anything is structurally wrong. And as Aaron Boone put it, he is going to be day to day. So with no Anthony Volpe in the lineup, it is going to be Oswald Peraza at shortstop. Reyes is at second base. Jazz Chisholm Jr. out for the foreseeable future with that oblique injury. Aaron Boone saying that one's going to be about 4 to 6 weeks. And in speaking with Chisholm after the game yesterday, he said there's actually 3 different spots in the oblique that show signs of tearing, so you wonder just how long Jazz Chisholm Jr. will be out of this lineup. Now, one guy that they would love to get back in this lineup is Giancarlo Stanton. He started the season on the injured list. He continues to make progress, and earlier today, I asked him about the rehab process.
It's going good, getting better. Hopefully not out too much longer.
What have you been doing, and what's the next step for you?
Getting like a makeshift spring training in, I guess. Making sure I'm in my cleats long enough, making sure I'm getting the long days in, starting, stopping, simulating how a game would be as much as I can, and just keep that stamina.
You had said a couple weeks ago that this is something that you'll have to deal with in some capacity throughout the season. Just how are you feeling now, and how do you manage this throughout the rest of the year?
It's just get it to a point where it's manageable and go from there. There'll be good days and bad days, and you got to understand that. Just keep a good mentality and keep it rolling.
Aaron Boone had mentioned that maybe you'll participate in a live here at the stadium when Jake Cousins throws. Do you have a target date for when you'd like to start a rehab assignment?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit off Cousins, I think, Tuesday, and then kind of go from there. It's gonna be based on how live ABs are, and then rehab will go from there.
How brutal has this been for you, just having to watch from the dugout?
It's been awful for me, but anything I could do to help the guys out to keep playing well, and any knowledge I can bring, that's what I'm here for at this point.
How would you describe what you've seen from Aaron Judge to start the season?
I played MLB The Show, and I don't think I could play as good as he's played now. So it's unreal. It's become almost like everyone just shakes their head, and it's can't miss TV for sure. So it's not that bad to miss.
So today is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Are you a big Star Wars guy?
I like Star Wars growing up for sure. I haven't seen all of the new the new shows out, but it's definitely an awesome franchise.
What was your favorite Star Wars movie growing up?
I like Revenge of the Sith, I believe, with Darth Maul.
I did not see that one. More importantly, how do you feel about your bobblehead doll that people have been standing outside since about 9:30, 10 a.m. for?
I haven't seen it yet, but it's awesome. I saw in the years past CC and a couple of the guys, so it's cool to have one, and something I'll have forever, actually.
Well, don't worry, Giancarlo Stanton. We have you covered. There is your bobblehead right there. He got a first look at it on the warning track just after I interviewed him. And he was pretty pleased with the final product. Said he could definitely do more damage with a lightsaber than he can a bat, but there you go. And he wanted me to correct, Phantom Menace is his favorite Star Wars movie. Couldn't remember the name, but he did find me to tell me that. But Bob, I'll send it back to you and say, may the 4th be with you if you're celebrating today.
May the 4th be with all of us regarding the weather, too. Thank you, Meredith. We'll see you with Michael and Nelly in just a bit. All season long here on Yes, we want to invite you viewers to show us the different ways you support the Bronx Bombers. Use the QR code on screen with the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and post pictures to social media that reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game. Pinstripe Pride is brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Well, coming up on the FanDuel Yankees pregame, it's a bit of a different look for the Yankees lineup as they take on Taj Bradley in the series finale. We'll break down the matchups next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is presented by FanDuel. New customers get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. The Yankees pregame
Show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
Time for the pregame odds segment. It is, and it's presented by FanDuel. It's the rubber game between the Yanks and the Rays in the Bronx. The force could be strong with this parlay. Let's go with Aaron Judge to knock at least 2 hits, Oswaldo Cabrera to record at least 2 total bases, and Trent Grisham to score a run. That would hit at plus 933. Right now, new customers get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins.
Let's take a look at today's Yankees lineup, brought to you by Toyota. Aaron Judge, all-world we know this year, 2 for 4 yesterday, extends the hit streak to 13 games, the on-base streak to 29. Over that 13-game hitting streak, a 500 hitter with a 14-17 OPS. And at the bottom, Oswald Peraza at shortstop today in place of Anthony Volpe, with Pablo Reyes at second base. So you look at the bottom of that lineup, and these guys that don't play every day, Val, a chance to do a little bit of damage.
Well, you get an opportunity. When you're a part-time player, you look forward to these type of opportunities. Typically, you're going to get them on a day game after a night game. And, you know, these guys are going to be ready mentally. But sometimes when you're not playing and you're not getting those regular at-bats, it's really hard to find your timing.
Yeah, I've always been intrigued by Peraza, because if we go back to 2023 in spring training, he was competing with Volpe for the starting shortstop job. Volpe wins it. His career goes in this direction. Peraza, he's been a minor leaguer. He's fought through some injuries. But to your point, Bob, if we look at the 6 through 9, let's push Cabrera off to the side because he's been a regular all season. Those are the 3 players. 15 for 77. That's a batting average under 200. 2 homers, 8 runs batted in. So to both of your points, not a lot of playing time. How do they figure out Bradley today against the Rays?
Even Giancarlo Stanton said Aaron Judge is must-see TV. Now, yesterday, did we implore Jack to bring his beat-up thesaurus to, right? Did you bring it today?
Let's just say I did. For the sake of the story, let's just say I did.
We're looking for new words to describe what Aaron Judge is doing, Dave.
Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. And I know it's right now you're thinking about 400. Could he possibly hit 400 on the course of the entire season? I just think it is such a tall task for somebody to play a full season to keep that batting average well over the, you know, that 400 mark in the early going. So, you know, you're going to have some slip-ups here and there. Yeah. But the one thing that he does do that is kind of going to keep him there, and we're going to keep this conversation going, he gets on base. He takes his walks.
You get on base, you take those walks, it's fewer at-bats in your batting average, and the George Bretts and the Tony Gwynns of the world would tell you that if you're trying to hit 400, fewer at-bats, as long as you qualify for the batting title, will probably actually work in your favor. By the way, Bob, I'm coming up with stupendous and scintillating. I reached out to the thesaurus. But let's go back to Paul O'Neill. In 1994, he made a run at 400. And a couple of similarities, guys, between O'Neill and Judge. They both absolutely crushed the ball. Hey, look at that article from 1994. 400 talk, O'Neill takes a walk. So that means he didn't want to do an interview. But, guys, I went back and looked at that season. So the first 33 games, Buck Showalter rested him against 5 lefties. Do you want to hear who those lefties were? Kenny Rogers, David Wells, Randy Johnson, Wilson Alvarez, and Joe Hesketh off to the side. So of those other 4 guys, 3 pitched perfect games, and Randy's in the Hall of Fame. Alvarez pitched a no-hitter. So as Wade Boggs told me that season, if you want to hit 400 and you can have some potential offers that aren't going to be on your ledger, that's going to help you. Paul did hit 305 against lefties that year, 380 against righties.
Yeah, it's amazing. You mentioned Wade Boggs. I think of when I was catching against him, he had such a small strike zone. So if he didn't swing, like the umpires were calling it a ball, I'm like, that ball is on the entire part of the plate. How is that not a strike? But he had a lot of help, but he was also an incredible hitter. But I think of George Brett. He hit 390 in, I think, 1980, but it was only 117 games. You know, so again, you start stretching out over 162. I think the level of pitching that these guys are facing day in and day out, it is almost impossible to make it happen. Ted Williams, the last guy that did it, right? 406. I looked up his numbers. That year, his on-base percentage when he hit 406 was .553. Wow. So he was taking his walks. I think he had 150 walks, give or take. So
One more thing on Bogsy. From May of '85 to May of '86, he actually had a full season's worth of games where he did hit over 400. Now, not for an entire season, so it's not on the back of his baseball card, but for an entire season of games. But it's so hard to do. And by the way, guys, the fact that we're even talking about this with gigantic Aaron Judge, who already holds the American League home run record, the fact that we're talking about him making a run at 400 in May, I think just speaks to how prolific a hitter he is.
Let me ask you this, because Aaron Boone was asked this. Are you surprised more teams aren't intentionally walking him? In my opinion, you're 33 games in. Like, if you're Kevin Cash, you got to believe your guys are going to go after him and try to get him out.
I am shocked that they continue to pitch to him. With as hot as he is, even the other day we were talking about that in the game. Why didn't they walk him and then face Rice right after him? Leave your lefty in there. I guess the value that the analytics are saying, like, do not put anybody else on base, takes away from the strategy of, I'm not going to let this man beat me. I think of Sparky Anderson. There were series when we would go in to play the Detroit Tigers, and he would just walk Griffey. Anytime there was a situation where he could hurt me, walk him. We don't care. Whoever's behind you, I'll take my chance with that guy as opposed to Griffey.
I think analytics has a lot to do with it. Remember, why did we see less bunting? Because if you look at the numbers, when you bunt, you're actually helping the opposition. It's a free out, even if you're moving the runners up. We saw fewer stolen base attempts until they changed the rules for the same reason. Don't give them a free out. I think you're exactly right, Dave. We've called Judge the modern-day Ruth, or the comparisons to Bonds. Bonds one year had 120 intentional walks. Last year, I believe Judge was in the 20 range. So keep pitching to him. The Yankees will be happy to see that. Aaron Boone would love to see this not happen. He wants to see him get a chance to swing.
Well, at least for 1 or 2 at-bats, Taj Bradley today will be doing that. Jack, last time they got to him, 9 hits, 6 runs on April 17th.
Yeah, I think that bodes well when you're a hitter, and Dave could speak to this better than I, but when you've just seen a guy and you've had some success against him, and even a couple of players have managed to hit the ball over the fence against him, I think you see him again, and I think that familiarity makes you feel even more comfortable in the box.
Yeah, I think the advantage definitely goes to the hitters when you're facing them within a week, right? The last time out, he had 4 walks. It really ended up hurting him, but gave up 6 runs. So hopefully that offense can wake up here this afternoon against Bradley as well.
All right, we will find that out. Want to remind you, the Gotham Sports app is your new home for streaming live Yankees games and so much more. And it's free with an eligible TV provider subscription. Download the Gotham Sports app now or visit GothamSports.com to get streaming. Well, Will Warren had another short outing in his last start, so he's looking to bounce back this afternoon. Up next on the FanDuel Yankees pregame, we'll tell you what to expect from the young righties, so stick around.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com. The Yankees pregame part by your local tri-state Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com.
Hi there, I'm News 12 meteorologist Alex Calamia with your wet game day forecast. Yeah, not perfect out there. Mostly it's just showers. Unlike yesterday where we had thunderstorms nearby, we're expecting temperatures are going to hold steady in the 60s. We have winds light from the southeast. Plenty of ways you can stay up to date with us here on News 12. We're always giving you the best hyperlocal news and weather in your neighborhood.
Alex, thank you for that. That's a look at the stadium right now with the tarp on the field. We are beginning in a DVRD. That is a Dave Valley rain delay. But we will let you know exactly what develops and when they think they can start this game. In the meantime, let's take a look at the Rays lineup. Brought to you by Toyota. 6 stolen bases, by the way, yesterday for some of these guys. Jonathan Aranda, a day off yesterday. He has 4 homers and 14 runs batted in 30 games so far. And then former Yankee Ben Rortvedt catching and batting 8th. And they'll go up against Will Warren, his last outing. Dave, if you're trying to get a young guy to sort of bounce back from that outing, I guess it would start with don't walk anybody, which he did, and then gave up a 3-run home run. But what would you be telling Will Warren?
But the one thing about young pitchers, oftentimes they don't really feel like they have the confidence to go out there with their stuff. So you got to trust your stuff, right? So I think of different times when I had certain pitchers like a Randy Johnson. I used to say, I wish you could get in the box and face yourself, just so you understand just how hard and how difficult it is for anybody to square up your fastball. Now, this young man's got a really good fastball. And the one thing I dug in a little bit, he's only getting 18% swings on the first pitch, which tells me that the first pitch is not being competitive. It's not in and around that strike zone. Strike one is the best pitch in baseball, whether you're throwing it with a secondary pitch or your fastball being able to land it. But with his movement on his two-seamer, I'm going to see if I can show you here. If I'm catching, right, this is home plate. Sometimes with the sinker, it has 18 inches of movement. So there's a lot of play there. I don't want to set up on the inside part, so he has to be absolutely perfect for strike one. I'm going to set up on the outside part of the plate and let that ball run in so that it's coming over the cylinder, and I'm going to get more guys swinging at that pitch and put the ball in play. I want contact early in the count. Yeah. That's how you keep your pitches down. He had 70 pitches in 3 1/3 innings in Baltimore. That's got to change.
You know, it's funny you mentioned confidence, because when he's pitching well, Jack, Warren, we talk about confident, aggressive, believes in his pitches.
2 starts ago against Cleveland, we had another former Major League catcher sitting between us and John Flaherty. And, Dave, he echoed your comments about the aggressiveness we saw in Warren in that start. He was in attack mode. You could see it in his body language. He was getting strike one. But then in his last start against the Orioles, got out of a jam in the first inning, walked 2 tough batters. I mean, he walked Henderson and Rushman on 3-2 pitches and then left a sweeper out to O'Hearn. So he kind of was his own worst enemy with those walks. As you said, be efficient, attack. You can't walk batters and expect that it's not going to come back to haunt you.
And sometimes if guys aren't trusting their stuff, you got to bring evidence to them. So some of the evidence that I would sit down and say, listen, on your fastball, they're hitting 138.
Yeah.
138.
Yeah.
Make them hit your fastball. Yeah. Okay, they're only slugging 207 against that same pitch. Use the fastball, trust it, and then see what happens.
May the 4th be with him? Is that what you're saying? Hey, by the way, breaking news, the Yankees have announced that first pitch is scheduled for 2:05. But there's no delaying Jack and Dave's keys to the game. We'll get them next on the FanDuel Yankees pregame here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Cadillac. Spring is the season for new beginnings, and it's the best time to get behind the wheel of a sophisticated new Cadillac SUV. Visit your Tri-State Cadillac dealer today.
Great to have you back. We'll get you out to stadium in a little bit, but we have rain delay coverage coming up. First pitch scheduled to be thrown around 2:05. With that in mind, let's get your key to the game.
My key today is get strike one. You've got to trust yourself. Will Warren has got to go out there and start attacking these hitters, get them on the defensive, get them swinging the bat early, keep that pitch count down, and let that offense get the job done.
My key is punch first and keep punching. The Yankees scored first yesterday. Judge hits a home run in the first inning, but you got to add on against Bradley. The last time he faced the Yankees, Cabrera took him deep, so we'll keep an eye on those at-bats.
Do we have the Sacks player waiting in the wings? We got the rain delay Sacks coming up. We'll see you back here in studio as the tarp comes off the field. Good to have you back on Yes. Starting in a rain delay, but first pitch scheduled for 2:05. Now notice, please, we don't have the sad sax for the rain delay music. That's because when Dave Valley is in town, he's our mental coach, and he is imbuing us with positivity, right? So you're keeping that upbeat, the good music.
Deserve this?
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Good to have you back, by the way. So final game of this 3-game series, Yanks and Rays getting started here in about 30 minutes. It's going to be Will Warren against Taj Bradley. And Jack, like Dave said earlier, that offense for the Yanks got to get going after a quiet day yesterday.
Yeah, and as they wait for this game to begin, I'm glad you mentioned the starting pitchers, Bob, because Dave will probably smile at this, but it's always about the starting pitchers. You never want to get your starting pitcher started up too quickly, so they need to know when that first pitch is coming so they can begin their warm-ups. But absolutely, the Yankee offense needs to do some damage against Bradley. And it's a different cast of characters today. We mentioned no Volpe, no Wells, no Jazz, no Rice. So we'll see how Bradley navigates that lineup.
Yeah, it's, you mentioned how they treat those starting pitchers with kid gloves. The thing about today, it's not a delay inside the game, right? The guys haven't gotten everything all warmed up and ready to go. So it's a little bit easier. It just got pushed back those 30 minutes. So starters were able to sit back. They knew that the game was going to be delayed. They're going to go through their normal routine to get ready.
Yeah. You would have already had your pregame chat and meetings with the pitcher and the pitching coach. Would you do any more of that right now, or would you just kind of be laying out?
Yeah, at this point, you just step back. Now, if you're starting, you kind of start getting your game face ready, right? But if you're not in the lineup, it might be time to go get like a slice of pizza or maybe a little ice cream.
Yeah,
you know?
Really?
Yeah.
All right. A little something, a little extra cup of coffee, too, or no?
In the starting lineup.
Yeah.
You know?
I think Dave is giving us his lunch order for today.
Right.
That's what I think he's doing right there. I'm curious about the way different pitchers handled this. Now, this is only half an hour, so we don't want to make too much of it. But I remember the likes of David Cohn, rain delay, and we'd be in the clubhouse as reporters beforehand. It's just chill. Just let me know when. But then some other pitchers whose names I might not mention, they'd get a little jumpy. They'd be walking into Joe Torre's office. You got any news? You got any news? Who were the guys you were teammates with who were chill? Who were the guys who maybe were a little more frenetic, a little more panicky?
I think the guys the most even keel probably was a guy named Scott Bankhead. So Banky came out of North Carolina. He came over in a trade, and he just was one of those guys that up, down, you could never tell what was going on. So whenever he was pitching, it was kind of an easy day. But the other guys, again, as a catcher, handling my pitching staff, you almost have to be a psychologist.
Yeah.
You know, when do you start, like, stroking this guy? You know, I need to get him going, or I got to yell at him. Certain guys you can yell out. Other guys, if you yell at them, they kind of crumble. You know, so you got to kind of know the personality of how to get these guys ready to pitch.
All right, so Aaron Boone knows the personality of his guys. He's penciled in, as Jack said, a little different lineup. He met with the media as usual prior to the game. Media and Meredith, let's listen to that.
Is there an update on Anthony Volpe? Obviously not in today's lineup.
Yeah, X-rays, MRI, good news. He's sore today. But I feel like we're probably in a good spot. We'll see. Kind of day to day right now. He'll probably do some hitting today, see how that is. Strength and everything's real good, though. So I would say overall encouraging news.
He had said in the clubhouse last night that he heard a pop. Was there any type of a diagnosis?
No, it's a little unclear in there. He's got some stuff that they feel like's older stuff, so hard to know exactly. But, you know, he's definitely a little cranky in the shoulder today.
And just getting the MRI back clean, the X-ray clean, just how much of a sigh of relief is that to you, knowing what he can do defensively?
Yeah, no question. I mean, you know, had a little bit of that when we got out there because, you know, as you guys have known, watching Anthony now a couple of years, you know, durable, tough, you know, isn't real. You don't really see a lot, but obviously some pain when he went down there. And then once he got up and Timmy was putting him through a bunch of the testing, the strength and everything was good, which was a good sign. So, you know, hopefully we're good, but we'll certainly want to see how today unfolds and how the next couple days are.
Jake, to the right. So there's been a lot of conversation around Judge and comparing him to Barry Bonds and some of the statistical numbers, kind of the best offensive run that we've seen since Bonds. I'm curious why you think that Judge hasn't been walked, either intentionally or unintentionally, at kind of that same level. Is that something to do with the change in the sport, in pitching, and how we approach hitters? I'm just curious for your perspective.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of the times, you know. We don't readily, most teams don't readily intentionally walk. You know, there's some managers, some teams that do it a little more aggressively. I think it just comes down to the game, the matchup. You know, you're turning lineups over. I'm sure we'll go through stretches where you might see it a little bit when he's on a real good power run and there's that real reason to put him on. I don't think there's been necessarily a ton of situations where, you know, I would have thought he's getting walked here. You know, maybe one or two, like, will they do it here? So I don't think that situation has come up a lot.
Well, here is the Yankees starting lineup. They'll go out there today. Aaron Judge will bat second and DH this afternoon. Comes into the day with his .432 average. Trent Grisham leading off in center. Cody Bellinger's in right. Jason Dominguez in left. And then bottom of the lineup, it's Iscaro, Reyes, Cabrera, and Peraza. So, Jack, several of those names you mentioned are the guys that want to be that next man up and have an impact.
Yeah, you look at the 6 through 9 for the Yankees. Cabrera is the one player who's had a lot of playing time amongst that foursome. Those other players are bench players, so today they get their opportunity. Combined this year, they're hitting under 200 with a combined 2 home runs. But Peraza has always been an intriguing player for me because when you go back to 2023, he was in the competition with Volpe for the shortstop job, and internally, the Yankees would tell you that he's actually the slicker defensive player, stronger arm, and a guy who actually looks like a shortstop. Volpe won the job, has already won a Gold Glove, and plays excellent defense. Peraza has been trying to jumpstart his career since 23.
Yeah, I look at this lineup, and throughout the course of 162 games, you're not always going to have your starting guys in there. The horses, knowing that what you're going to expect from those guys. But there are going to be the days, like today. Today's a little bit unique, though, because there's 4 new faces in there. But to me, as you look at a championship team, you got to play 162. So maybe I run out my starting lineup, if I'm lucky, 140 times. So it's those other 22 games. What are you going to do when the other guys are in there? Can you win when those guys are in there? And it's a real, to me, a true test of a championship team, being able to win when you don't have all your horses in there.
Now, there's another guy on the injured list right now the Yankees would love to have in the lineup, but that's Giancarlo Stanton. It is his bobblehead day today, by the way. May the 4th be with you as he gets his Jedi bobblehead. Meredith Marakovitz talked to him about that and get the latest on him prior to the game today.
Giancarlo, how's the rehab process going for you so far?
It's going good, getting better. You know, hopefully not out too much longer.
What have you been doing, and what's the next step for you?
Getting like a makeshift spring training in, I guess. You know, making sure I'm in my cleats long enough, making sure I'm getting the long days in, starting, stopping, simulating how a game would be as much as I can. And just keep that stamina.
You had said a couple weeks ago that this is something that you'll have to deal with in some capacity throughout the season. Just how are you feeling now, and how do you manage this throughout the rest of the year?
It's just get it to a point where it's manageable and go from there. There'll be good days and bad days, and you got to understand that. And, you know, just keep a good mentality and keep it rolling.
Aaron Boone had mentioned that maybe you'll participate in a live here at the stadium when Jake Cousins throws. Do you have a target date for when you'd like to start a rehab assignment?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit off Cousins, I think, Tuesday, and then kind of go from there. It's gonna be based on how live ABs are, and then you know, rehab will go from there.
How brutal has this been for you, just having to watch from the dugout?
It's been awful for me, but anything I could do to help the guys out to, you know, keep playing well, and any knowledge I can bring, that's what I'm here for at this point.
How would you describe what you've seen from Aaron Judge to start the season?
You know, I played MLB The Show, and I don't think I could play as good as he's played now. So it's unreal. It's become almost like everyone just shakes their head, and it's can't miss TV for sure. So it's not that bad to miss.
So today is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Are you a big Star Wars guy?
I like Star Wars growing up for sure. I haven't seen all of the new the new shows out, but it's definitely an awesome franchise.
What was your favorite Star Wars movie growing up?
I like Revenge of the Sith, I believe, with Darth Maul.
I did not see that one. More importantly, how do you feel about your bobblehead doll that people have been standing outside since about 9:30, 10 a.m. for?
I haven't seen it yet, but it's awesome. I saw in the years past CC and a couple of the guys, so it's cool to have one, and something I'll have forever, actually.
And he actually got a hold of one right after Meredith was done talking to him. That's Giancarlo Stanton unpacking his brand new Jedi bobblehead. And for the record, Your Honor, his favorite movie, he corrected himself, is actually Phantom Menace. Jack, so we've got that straight.
And we all know Phantom Menace came out in 1999, and that was the first time that George Lucas, who directed the original Star Wars in 1977, returned to the franchise to direct that. I think Liam Neeson was in Phantom Menace, maybe Natalie Portman.
Wow, did somebody hit the Google machine?
He's deep into Star Wars.
It's called doing a little research during Meredith's fun interview with Stanton.
That was good stuff. I'll tell you what, it is good news, though, that off to such a slow start. He had the elbow tendonitis, still getting through that, Dave, but seems like he's hit a good spot if he's ready to start taking some live at-bats.
Well, and this lineup could sure use him, right? This is a huge hole when he went on the IL. This is a guy that they need in this lineup if they're going to make that run all the way through September.
You think about the Yankee mindset when this news came out in spring training. Your most recent memory of Stanton is what he did in October and how good he is for the Yankees in October. Suddenly, they don't have their DH. What are they going to do? Where's the offense going to come from? They've already lost Soto. Nobody's going to hit other than Judge. Well, they have hit second in the major leagues in runs scored per game, first in home runs. Ben Rice has been a revelation. Trent Grisham has contributed. But to Dave's point, all that's nice. You want Stanton back. Stanton is a guy who moves the needle. He is a presence in that lineup, even when he might be on a little bit of an 0 for 12 or an 0 for 15. Pitchers see Stanton in the lineup, and there's just a different feeling about having to face that guy.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Pitching has also been a premium for the Yanks. Will Warren looking to be that guy again today after an off outing against Baltimore. He's out there getting loose and getting ready, and we'll talk about Warren coming up. Stick around.
Chapters of their big league careers. Warren's been in the
Field prep at Yankee Stadium well underway for this afternoon's ball game, so about a 30-minute rain delay to start things off, or non-rain delay. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're going to start the game at about 2:05. We'll have it for you here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Yanks and Rays finishing up this 3-game series. Yanks can get a series win if they get a good start out of Will Warren. And we talked a little bit about him before, Dave, and the fact that how much of it for him is confidence in his stuff versus sort of the mental side of it and believing that he has the stuff to get guys out.
Sometimes you have to wait for that success, right, for guys to really believe, I got good stuff. I can get major league hitters out on a regular basis. And I think oftentimes I had so many different pitchers that never really trusted their stuff. They didn't trust their fastball. They were afraid of contact. And I think oftentimes, until you get to that place where you're not afraid to put the ball in play, that's what keeps your pitch count down. And I went back to his last start against Baltimore. This guy only gets 18% first pitch swings. That's not good enough. He's got too good of stuff for him to be pitching away from the bat. So imagine this. Here's the plate, right? You're the pitcher. Fans out there, you're the pitcher. I'm the catcher. I called for that two-seamer. That two-seamer has 18 inches of movement, okay? So if I set up here and that ball moves 18 inches, it's a ball. And that's why you're not getting hitters to swing at it. Now, if I'm catching Will, I move to the outside part of the plate here, so that ball comes and then it moves back over the plate. That's when you're going to start getting swings. That's when guys are going to put the ball in play. And if you get ahead, they put the ball in play, or even if they don't, foul it off or whatever, or you get strike one, all of a sudden they're on the defensive. And now you got them right where you want. Then you can come back with that sweeper. But strike one is such an important pitch for young pitchers. And those guys that don't trust their stuff, I wish you could take them, put them in the batter's box, and see their stuff and go, wow, I got good stuff. Like, this would be hard to hit.
So what you just described is an aggressive approach. 2 starts ago against Cleveland, that's exactly what we saw from Warren, getting ahead in the count, attacking hitters. John Flaherty, our colleague, was sitting where you were sitting, and he was impressed with Warren's demeanor. And then, Dave, the last start against the Orioles, he got out of a jam in the first inning. That was really nice. He stranded a couple. But then he starts the 3rd inning, walks 2 good hitters in Henderson and Rushman, both on 3-2 counts, so he let those at-bats extend. Then he goes deep in the count with O'Hearn, leaves a sweeper up. And as a young pitcher, you're saying, I just let that whole inning get away from me. If he followed what you talked about, get ahead in the count and attack, that inning might have transpired differently.
It's almost like, I dare you to hit this. Yeah. Here comes my fastball. Show me that you're going to turn it around, and then maybe I'll change. But until you as a hitter, until you make that adjustment, I'm going to just keep ramming this fastball right down your throat until you tell me otherwise.
Yeah, but Dave, if I'm a young guy and I have, let's say, 1st and 2nd inning, really, I pitch through it, 9 pitches, get out of the inning. 3rd inning, wheels start to come off a little bit. I walk a guy, 3-2, 3-2, that kind of thing. How do you get a young pitcher back on the rails when you can kind of see it spiraling away from him and that he loses that lack of aggression?
Oftentimes, you got to just remind him about the first 2 innings, right? You just breeze through that. Say, hey, let's go back to our original plan. You're being too fine. I want the ball in the strike zone. I want these guys swinging the bat. Because if you start trying to nibble early in the count, that's when all of a sudden that pitch count goes up. And we saw him throw 70 pitches in just 3 1/3 innings back there in Baltimore. That's too high. He's got too good of stuff. I mean, this guy has got great stuff. He can get major league hitters out on the regular.
The Yankees love Warren because of his ability to spin the baseball. Dave talked about the fastball. Batters hitting 138 against it this year. It's 93, so you say, well, it's only 93, but it gets on hitters because of his extension. It's got above average spin, and then he mixes in the sweeper and the changeup, and he also likes to throw the sinker to left-handed batters. He has the stuff when you watch him. You say, this is a major league starter. This guy can win at the major league level, but it's incumbent upon him to put all the pieces of the puzzle together.
You mentioned 138 batting average against his fastball. League average is 247. Slugging against that fastball is only 207. League average is 422. So he's got above average stuff. He just needs to start believing in it himself.
They would love for him to go deeper than he did last time. It was just 3 1/3. And we remember yesterday, guys, Ryan Yarborough made the spot start. He went 4 innings, and you saw that they had to use Leiter Jr., Cruz, Hamilton, Hill yesterday out of the bullpen. So, Jack, as you look at that, the bullpen still sets up pretty well in terms of Luke Weaver and maybe a few of the other guys.
Yeah, Matzik hasn't pitched in 4 days. Hill only threw 15 pitches. I wonder if Cruz and Leiter Jr. might be guys that Boone stays away from, or if he really sees a chance to seize a game. Does he use someone like Cruz for a sequence of batters? But then at the end of the game, you've got Williams and Weaver ready to take you home. So this is an important game for the Yankees. They've played well this year, but as I mentioned at the top of our pregame show, you got to beat the teams in your division. The Yankees right now, they're a better team than the Tampa Bay Rays. Figure out a way to win this series.
And as you take a look at the use of that bullpen, this start by Warren going deep into this game is so important for Aaron Boone.
You know what else helps a starting pitcher, young guy? Punch first, get runs on the board. That's what the offense needs to do after yesterday only getting a total of 5 men on base and 5 hits in that game.
That game was an anomaly for the Yankees. Scoring 3 runs or fewer. It's the 10th time this year that has happened, and that's an MLB low. Usually they've got runners on base. They're getting walks. For them to go an entire game and not have 1 walk, that's not what the Yankee offense is about.
You got to give a little credit to Lytle, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he made a couple of mistakes in that ball game. The Yankees hit solo home runs. Solo home runs don't hurt you. It's the 2-run, the 3-run home runs that can really put a game away. But I thought Lytle did a great job of keeping those bats very quiet. He threw strikes. He didn't walk anybody. Never really put himself in a tough situation. The Yankees only had 1 opportunity, and that was Aaron Judge late in the ballgame with a runner in scoring position.
Which, by the way, we had the conversation earlier. Why aren't some teams pitching around Judge? That wasn't a spot they could do it, Jack, but that shows why teams would go after him. He's not going to have success 100% of the time. He hit the ball hard, but it was right at the shortstop.
I think the whole idea of when do you pitch to Aaron Judge and when do you not pitch to him is a fascinating discussion. And Aaron Boone said, well, perhaps if he goes on one of his power streaks, we might see more of that. He went on the ultimate power streak in 2022 and hit 62 home runs. Guys, he was only intentionally walked 19 times. Last year, he had 58 home runs, only intentionally walked 20 times. I just think the way the game is managed these days, that a free base has enough value that teams, as you said earlier, Bob, teams are going to trust that their pitchers might be able to get the best hitter in the planet out.
If I'm managing, I may have to have an argument with my analytics team.
Yes, I would too.
There are certain times I do not want this man to beat me. And you take a look at the other day, as we mentioned, they didn't walk him, and we're thinking, hey, there's a lefty on the mound, walk Judge, and then face Rice. All day long, and nothing against Ben Rice, because he's been having a great year, 8 home runs already, but I'll take my chances against Ben Rice as opposed to a guy who's hitting .430 and is on a streak right now. So hopefully the Yankees will continue to benefit from that type of thought process as far as walking and pitching to him.
So at times you can, if he's not doing as well as he's doing, you could probably come up with some kind of a game plan for Aaron Judge. Right now, you're in that catcher's room pitching meeting. How do you game plan against him?
Right now, his plate coverage is unbelievable. It's uncanny. We saw yesterday that little hanging slider out over the plate. First inning, he hits it deep to right center field. when he has that type of plate coverage, you're just hoping that he hits it at somebody like he did in that last at-bat, right to the shortstop, because when he has that type of coverage, he can go deep any part of the park, drive the ball anywhere. He's a scary at-bat.
Yeah, sometimes we show those hot map, hot zone, cold zone. Everything's a hot zone right now, Jack.
We showed one of those not too long ago, and there was a part in the top up corner where his batting average was 0, but he was 0 for 1. And by the way, for some perspective, we've compared him to Ruth and Bonds recently. Bonds one season, 120 intentional walks. They did not want him to beat them.
That is amazing. All right, we are getting set to get you out to the Bronx. After this, it's going to be Michael Kay, Jeff Nelson with the call, Meredith Barakovitz reporting, and of course, we look forward to seeing you on the post-game show later on. Final game of this 3-game series coming up. Yankees against the Rays. Lock it in and enjoy the ball game. Coming up next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Yes.
Overcast, dreary Sunday here in New York City. The start of the game delayed by about a half hour, but now it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents the Hyundai Sunday Game of the Week, it's the Tampa Bay Rays against the New York Yankees in the rubber game of the 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with Jeff Nelson. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees have split the first 2. They won the first game by 3. They lost yesterday by 1. But a guy who's consistently great every single day is Aaron Judge. Now, I've run out of superlatives. Now you have to come up with something.
Spectacular, brilliant, amazing, mind-blowing. I mean, just go on and on. That's what he's been this season. Pitchers are afraid to come inside. They want to go away. He covers so much of the plate. He sits on breaking balls. He's not fooled. He hits his second triple of the year on Friday, right off the wall. And then how about yesterday, his 17th multi-hit game that leads baseball and number 11 in the first inning. I know you guys talked about what else is left, maybe breaking his own home run record, or are we witnessing a Triple Crown season?
54 hits, the most through 33 games in Yankee history. Has a 29-game on-base streak. He reached multiple times in 24 of those games, and 6 of those 11 home runs have come in the first inning, give the Yankees an early boost. And he's doing all of that without the protection of that guy in the lineup. Giancarlo Stanton, what's the due date for his return? Meredith Barakovitz sits down and talks to the man they call Big G. That's coming up next, right here on Yes.
Yes, series finale between the Yankees and the Rays is coming your way in just a few minutes. Hey, everyone, I'm Meredith Barakovitz. The Yankees are still without a big bat in their lineup in Giancarlo Stanton. He continues to get closer to a return. Even when he does get back, though, he is going to have to manage that elbow tendonitis. Earlier, I asked him how he does just that.
Get it to a point where it's manageable and go from there. There'll be good days and bad days, and you got to understand that. And, you know, just keep a good mentality and keep it rolling.
Aaron Boone had mentioned that maybe you'll participate in a live here at the stadium when Jake Cousins throws. Do you have a target date for when you'd like to start a rehab assignment?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit off Cousins, I think, Tuesday, and then kind of go from there. It's gonna be based on how live ABs are, and then you know, rehab will go from there.
How brutal has this been for you, just having to watch from the dugout?
It's been awful for me, but anything I could do to help the guys out to, you know, keep playing well, and any knowledge I can bring, that's what I'm here for at this point.
How would you describe what you've seen from Aaron Judge to start the season?
You know, I played MLB The Show, and I don't think I could play as good as he's played now. So it's unreal. It's become almost like everyone just shakes their head, and it's can't miss TV for sure.
Aaron Judge is no doubt putting up video game numbers, and Giancarlo Stanton is correct. It is must-see TV. So continue watching, yes, to see what Aaron Judge has in store for Rays pitching this afternoon.
Yankees Hyundai. Test drive a new Hyundai today, only at your local Hyundai dealer. By Tunnel to Towers. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. And by Monitor Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Well, thank you for waiting about a half hour for first pitch. We appreciate you being with us on this Sunday afternoon. Big crowd at the stadium. Star Wars Day. They're giving out Giancarlo Stanton bobbleheads. And the Yankees take the field. Will Warren will head to the mound to begin his warm-up tosses as the Yankees try to take 2 out of 3 from the Rays. Let's take a look at the Tampa Bay Rays lineup. With Speedy Chandler Simpson in center, leads off Brandon Lau at second, bat second, hitting third, the DH Yandy Diaz. It's Jonathan Aranda at first, Cameron Meisner in right, Curtis Mead at third base will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing left field, Travis Jankowski. Ben Rortvedt, the catcher, will bat eighth, and batting ninth. And playing shortstop, it's Taylor Walls. Taj Bradley will get the start for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Well, there are the numbers for Will Warren, 5.63 ERA, just 24 innings in those 6 starts, making it a 7th start tonight. Let's check out the Nissan pitchers scouting report. Get ahead, a lot of first pitch strikes. The sweeper is going to be a big pitch for him. He can expand the zone, get some swing and misses, and efficient innings. With the bullpen usage yesterday, it's so important to try to get as deep as you can in this game. A lot of quick outs, efficient with that pitch count.
I want to take a look at the defense behind Will. You've got Dominguez at left, Trent Grisham in center, and Cody Bellinger is over right. No worries, Aaron Judge, the DH. Oswaldo Cabrera at third, Oswald Peraza at shortstop as Anthony Volpe's shoulder is barking just a little bit. All tests came back good. Pablo Reyes at second, Paul Goldschmidt at first, with J.C. Escara behind the plate, catching that man, Will Warren. Rays come in at 15-18. The Yankees are 19-14. After this one, the Yankees will wait for the San Diego Padres to come into town for a 3-game set before heading out west. Yankees have lost 3 straight 1-run games, so they'll try to take the series here. Simpson's ready, Warren's ready, and let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is up and away, and we're underway. Alfonso Marquez, the crew chief, to home plate ump. Lance Barrett at first, Carlos Torres at second. Charlie Ramos is over at third. Lined into center field. Grisham is right there, having played beautifully. 1 down. Hi, Jeff. It's time for the keys to the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers.
Well, early runs. You love to score early. Comfort Will Warren just a little bit, and then beyond Judge and Goldie, I think the rest of the offense need to get it going and clean it up. The last couple games, some key errors by the infielders. One last night led to the winning run.
There's Brandon Lau, 0 for 4 so far in the series, and there's a strike to the Rays' second baseman. Lau in his last 9 games, 5 hits and 37 at-bats. That's 135. Got the fastball by him, 0-2. Alfonso Marquez, what's he about? He's hitter-friendly, fewer high strikes, fewer inside strikes, and the crew chief in his 27th big league season.
That's pretty close to Carlos Torres's scouting report. That arrow all the way down almost. Not good for a pitcher.
Game time weather presented by Bigelow, the official hot tea of the Yankees. 67 degrees, chance of rain. Well, it should be raining at some point. It should be fine. Wow. That got me. Swing and a miss on the change.
Well, good changeup from Warren. That's a pitch that he uses a lot to left-handed batters. He's only thrown 1 to a righty. Majority of those changeups to all lefties. Also mixes in a curveball and the 4-seam fastball to left-handed hitters.
Pitch outside. Diaz hitless in 6 at-bats in this series. Dangerous right-handed hitter. And that one is off of Warren, and it caroms into right field. Now you have to hope that Warren's okay as Diaz picks up a single.
Yeah, let's see where this hit. It might hit him in the calf. Yeah, maybe just below that right knee. That was a fastball.
111 off the bat, Jeff.
You see this fastball right down the middle, right below that right knee. And that's a spot where you push off. That's not your kick leg. And left leg is your kick leg. They rub some dirt on it. Let's go.
Here is Jonathan Aranda. It would be tough, personnel-wise, for the Yankees to have a short outing from a starter today because Yarbrough's unable to go.
Right, and you had Hamilton over 30 pitches or about 30 pitches. You had Cruz through 2 innings yesterday, and also Leiter Jr., he was out around the 30-pitch mark as well in that third of an inning that he threw.
The 1-1. 2-1. The bullpen budget brought to you by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. So that's a lot of pitches thrown out of the bullpen yesterday. And 5 pitchers were used. So Weaver's available. Williams, I'm sure that Cruz could go as well, but you'd like to stay away from using guys after they've thrown that many pitches. And Tyler Matzik is also available. He hasn't pitched since Tuesday. So they need some length out of Warren today. 3-1.
Cruz with 2 innings. They sometimes don't care about the pitches. It's all about the up downs now is what they call them. You get up and get down. And with Warren, he's a guy that the Yankees don't really allow him to go around the third time in the lineup. He's only pitched the third time in the lineup 5 plate of appearances.
There's ball 4 to Aranda. So first and second with 2 men out. Brings up Cameron Meisner. Well, the first pitch was at 2:05, so the official delay because of the rain, 30 minutes. And we'll take that. Thought it might be longer, so that's good news.
Warren's last outing against Baltimore, 3 1/3, 4 runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. The walks have been an issue here for Warren early, almost 5 per 9.
Meisner 0 for 7 in the first 2 games. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. The 1-1. Last 9 games, Meisner with 3 hits and 27 at-bats. So Warren wants to put him away here, get out of this inning. 2 quick outs and a single off his leg and a walk. 2-1. The pitch. Now 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Warren steps off. And the pitch. Strike 3. Meisner down looking. No runs a hit. 2 men left. The Yankees coming to bat.
We're the Riverhead Little League from Long Island. Here's today's Yankees starting lineup.
Batting first, playing center field, Trent Grisham.
Batting second, the designated hitter, Aaron Judge.
Batting third, right field, Cody Bellinger.
Batting fourth, playing first base, Paul Goldschmidt. Batting fifth, playing left field, Jason Dominguez. Batting sixth, playing catcher, J.C. Escaro. Batting seventh, playing second base, Pablo Reyes. Batting 8th, playing third base, Oswaldo Cabrera.
Batting 9th, playing shortstop, Oswald Peraza.
And starting pitchers, Will Warren.
Great job, Riverhead Little League. Kids from various teams, and they kicked off their season yesterday. So the kids from Riverhead, Long Island do a great job. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Tampa Bay leaves 2. Now it's the Yankees' turn against that man, Taj Bradley.
Yeah, good numbers for Taj Bradley. You look at the strikeouts. The walks are a little high. Let's check out the Nissan pitcher scouting report after the pitch.
And there's a strike.
Now let's check out the Nissan pitcher scouting report. Fastball command, 97, 98. He's got a good fastball. The walks are high, though, about 4 per 9. He's got a good split. That's his strikeout or swing and miss pitch. His second used pitch by Bradley. And deep outings. He's gotten deep into the game. 5 of the 6 starts. He's gotten into the 6th or deeper.
Grisham 1 for 5 in the series, hitting .286, 8 homers and 15 ribbies. And Bradley deals. 1 and 2. And they have everybody dressed up as Star Wars characters on the scoreboard because it's May the 4th. Be with you.
Be with you.
Yep.
And you're not a Star Wars guy.
You know what? I can't say I'm not a Star Wars guy. I've never seen it. And you've seen the first one, and then you stop.
And that was like when I was young, little. And then that was it.
You were never really little, I'm sure.
In age.
Okay. Once again, towering over me in the open.
You know, when I graduated high school, when I signed out of high school, I was 6'2". I grew all out.
That time?
Yeah, all the way till like 20, 21 years old.
What are you now, 6'6"?
6'6".
The 2-2. 3 and 2. Jankowski, good left fielder. Simpson in center, Meisner in right, Meade, Walls, Lau, and Aranda third to first. Workhead behind the plate. Diaz the DH. The 24-year-old Bradley is on the mound. Third big league season. And a walk to Grisham to start it off. And here's Aaron Judge. 13-game hitting streak, 29-game on-base streak, 17 multi-hit games, 54 hits on the season, passing Jeter, who had 53 in the first 33 games of the season. You know, he said in the opening, you kind of run out of words, run out of superlatives, but in his interview with Meredith, Giancarlo Stanton said it best. He said, I play MLB The Show, and I can't do what he's doing in MLB The Show. It's like he's got a cheat code to a video game. Three and 0.
Yeah, Bradley's just all over the place, no command whatsoever, and he's not going to give in and give the Judge a fastball. You absolutely have the green light here if you get one right down the middle.
Well, he turned him loose, and it was a fastball. Judge fouled it straight back.
Well, this is down a little lower. This is in the seats. There you see he just got underneath it.
Strike two. Just clipped the outside corner. So full count on Judge. Grisham's at first. Judge uses his timeout. April 17th, Bradley faced the Yankees, gave up a season-high 6 runs, 9 hits, and 4 walks in a loss to the Yanks. High fly ball, center field. Simpson makes the play, 1 down. So Bradley came back from 3-0 to get him.
Yeah, got him upstairs with a split finger that didn't really break down and stayed up. You know, it's funny, you had Giancarlo Stanton saying something about the show that he couldn't play. He couldn't do any better in the show with Judge than he does on the field. There's a lot of guys that are playing these video games. There was one pitcher in Seattle, Logan Evans, made his debut in Seattle. The only time he's ever seen the ballpark was on the show. A lot of these guys aren't seeing ballparks the first time or on games.
The 1-0. 1-1.
They get their scouting report off the video games. Oh, is this how that stadium plays?
I don't know if you've ever played it because your children.
I haven't, no.
But it's so realistic, it's unbelievable.
Your kids play?
Charlie plays all the time, yeah. Loves it. One. 1-2. Still 1-2.
I wasn't a big video guy. Do you have video guys? Video?
I really wasn't. I mean,
Atari.
I had Pong.
Pong with Atari.
Yeah.
Space Invaders.
They're much more sophisticated now. 1-2. Popped up. Shallow left center. Jankowski makes the play. 2 down. So here's Goldschmidt, 2 for 8 so far in this series. He has 15 multi-hit games, right behind Judge's 17. Aranda holds on Grisham at first. Two 2-0 to Goldschmidt. Off the end of the bat, a ground ball to Lau, steps on the bag, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. May the 4th be with you. Thank you for joining us on Star Wars Day. Well, let's check out FanDuel's live same-game parlay. Some of the offerings there. We go to the 2nd inning. And the pitch to Meade is a strike. Meade 2 hits and 6 at-bats in this series. The Rays snapped a 4-game losing streak with their victory yesterday. Ground ball to Reyes. He bobbles, regains, fires, got him.
Well, good 2-seamer from Warren. This is just taking your eye off of it. Hits you right in the palm. You think a little cherry hop. He recovers.
Here's Travis Jankowski. And a strike. Jankowski signed a minor league deal with the White Sox in March, then traded to the Rays last week. He was on the Rangers World Series winning team. Had a .357 on-base percentage as a fourth outfielder. And he took over for Adolis Garcia in right field for the last 2 games of that World Series.
Yeah, he's a really good defender. He has been occasional decent hitter. That's probably why he's more of a platoon player, because of his bat.
Buck Showalter had him with the Mets, raves about him. He said for the job he has to do, he's perfect guy in the clubhouse, and just does his job the way he's supposed to do it.
Yeah, he can run as well. He's pretty quick. You play good defense, you can run, hit occasionally. You can play this game for a long time being a utility player.
He said, I've been a 4th or 5th outfielder since 2019, so for the last 6 or 7 seasons, that's been my role. You learn how to prepare every single day. And I guess part of it, Jeff, is the acceptance. If you're a guy on the bench that, you think you should be playing every day, you're not going to be as amenable to, not playing. So if you know what your role is, you're cool.
Right, exactly. The time that he was with the Rangers, I think in the beginning of the year, the first couple months, he was hitting well over 300. He was having a really good start to the season.
That was a base hit through the left side, so Jankowski picks up a single. That's what I think always made your championship Yankee teams what they were. Because the guys on the bench accepted they were all Tim Raines, Strawberry, Homer Bush.
Well, you have managers and coaching staffs that are real good communicators, and they communicate that right away. Say, this is what your role is, and what it's going to be during the regular season. Joe Torre did that immediately. When Tim Raines was there, and then you mentioned Strawberry. Strawberry even says it in interviews about the years that he was with the Yankees during the World Championship years, that he knew his role as a bench player, and when he got his chance to play, you got to figure it out, and how to stay hot, get into a rhythm. Those guys were used to playing pretty much in their early career every day.
Another guy, the dad of the right fielder, Clay Bellinger, knew his role. Won 2 World Series. 2-0.
You had Charlie Hayes, Wade Boggs back then. Cecil Fielder came over, split in time with Tino.
And Posada before Girardi.
Right.
And then Girardi, the backup to Posada when he emerged as a starter. Everybody knew their role.
Some of these young kids coming up now, they're so used to playing every single day in the minor leagues, and then once they get to the big leagues, they have to figure out how to stay in that rhythm, because they're going to be bench players. You look for a perfect example, Grisham. Now he's getting an opportunity to play every day because he's been swinging the bat. You can't take him out of the lineup.
Going on 3-0. And he steals the base, so Jankowski with a stolen base on a 3-0 pitch.
Well, he can run, and you see the jump, and you got to pay attention to the runners just a little bit. You got to be able to control the running game, and the Rays are run a little bit here in this 3-game series, and most of it is all off the pitchers. You can't blame the catchers. You've got to give them a chance to be able to make a throw and catch a guy at second.
Work bet, works a walk, came in 3 for 35. I often wonder about the wisdom, Jeff, of running on 3-0. It's not going to, in all likelihood, it's not going to be a breaking ball. It's going to be a fastball. So, and we saw Jazz Chisholm try to do it a couple of games ago. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either, because you risk getting thrown out, and you've seen a lot of times when they do throw somebody out, that that next pitch you're working a walk instead of having first and second. There's a guy on first.
It worked out because he got it, and Workman did follow with the walk. So first and second with 1 man out, and here is Taylor Walls. Ground ball, backhanded by Peraza. There's no play. couldn't get a hold, so the bases are loaded on the infield single.
Well, it looked like Peraza let that ball play him. He was thinking to going to second right away. You watch. This should be an out. And he just stabbed at it. He didn't let the ball play him. There you go, right off the glove. Instead of keeping that glove down and going up with the ball, he goes immediately down with the ball and stabs at it, causes that to get off his glove.
Well, that's scored a fielder's choice in an E6. Brings the Yankee pitching coach out to talk with Will Warren. So first and second in the first inning with 2 outs. He struck out Meisner. Now bases loaded with 1 out in the second inning, and he's thrown 33 pitches so far. So here is Chandler Simpson, very tough guy to double up, considered the best or the fastest man in baseball. Yankees play back for the double play. Down the left field line, foul. Chandler 0 for 6 so far in this series against the Yanks. Pinch ran yesterday, stole 2 bases, and scored a run. This is his 14th big league game.
He was late on that fastball. You want to watch the off speed here. You're going to speed up his bat. Watch the change. Watch the slider.
Ground ball to second. There's 1. And not enough time to get 2. As Jankowski scores and the Rays lead 1-0.
Well, I like that pitch right there. Exactly what I said. Do not throw him anything off speed. You're going to speed up his bat. He winds up getting a fastball. And because of Simpson's so quick, he beats it out. But it's that error from Peraza. That would have been the inning-ending play. But it goes on.
4th ribby for Simpson. So now first and third, 2 outs. And here's Brandon Lau. Waves through that one.
You got to watch Simpson over there at first. First and third, 2 outs. I'm sure he's going to try to get a good jump to get in the scoring position. You know, a few ways you can control the running game. And now with the disengagements, you only get 2. That third time you got to go over. You got to alter your delivery. Use that time clock, alter it. Don't go the same time. The runners will start picking up a pattern. Also, try to slide step. Don't have that quick or high leg kick. Warren has a quick move to the plate. Plus, when you're throwing a lot of fastballs, you give maybe Ascara a chance to throw out Simpson.
Blew right by him. Lau didn't seem like he had a chance. The Rays get a run. They lead 2. It's time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Today's picture is of Jarve and Nicole. Came all the way from Australia to attend Game 4 of last year's World Series here at the stadium. And it is also Jarve's birthday today, so happy birthday to Jarve. Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride. Mention yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers. We might spotlight you in a future game. Jason Dominguez leads off against Bradley. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay, and Dominguez takes a strike. Oh, and 2. That picture we just showed, Jarve watches every game in Australia.
Does he?
What time it is. Everyone.
There's a lot of, I mean, there's Yankee fans everywhere. I've noticed with these fantasy camps, you get a lot of them from Japan, a lot of them from Australia. They'll come in just to put on the pinstripes.
Now, in those fantasy camps, do you throw that filthy slider, or you just...
No, not anymore. I had shoulder surgery in January because of those fantasy camps.
Really?
Oh, they blew me out.
Michael, he is tough on the campers, though. I'm sure you expected that, but very tough on the campers.
Tough, like verbally, or does he...
No, he likes to make it an authentic experience.
Yes, verbally,
if he could still throw that slider, I'm sure he would. He does not take it easy on them at all.
Saturday, you have the whole week, and then the Saturday is the day that you play against the campers. And we want it to go as quick as possible. So you kind of let it go.
Right.
And try to... sometimes you have 8 to 12 teams. You're there all day on Saturday. You want to limit the amount of time that they're on base, or if at all. No, I can't even throw fastballs. Oh, yeah. And sliders. I'll snap some off. I'll break up some adhesions in that elbow.
3-2 on Dominguez. And there's a walk. Now, Meredith, you've participated in those camps. Are you great?
I am not. I would use the word participate very lightly. I was a first base coach one year, took a couple swings. It's been a while since I've played, but I do host a lot of the question and answer sessions with the guys that are there, which is fun and a highlight for every fantasy camp.
Nice.
Yeah, she MCs quite a bit. She makes her appearance. Fantasy campers can't wait to see Meredith. They love when she's there.
She's a big favorite.
Yes.
J.C. Escar at the plate. 0-1. Oh, 1-1 now on Escar. Taking a good hard look at Luis Rojas, see if anything's on. Pablo Reyes is on deck. One and two. Yankees had their welcome home dinner last night, and Escar got big cheers from the crowd. You know, just the storybook nature of his whole career arc, and independent leagues, going at it, keeping trying to realize the dream, driving an Uber to support himself, and here he is.
How was it? You have a good time?
It was really nice. It was very well done. And here's that first home run.
And he knew it. How about that? That was a bomb right there.
That one you could admire. Chopped and grabbed there by Aranda. He fires the second off the glove of Walls, so that allows Dominguez to stay at second.
Well, outstanding play right here by Aranda. He got up. Once he tags the bag, Dominguez has to be tagged out. And Walls just couldn't handle the hop. And you wonder if Dominguez knew that. He didn't even slide.
Yeah, I was wondering why he didn't slide. Here's Reyes. So this Yankee lineup at the bottom looks a lot different without Volpe in there. Volpe underwent an MRI and an X-ray yesterday. All the results came back clean, but his shoulder after that diving attempt yesterday is still barking, so they want to give him a day off. I'm a little surprised they don't have Bibas in there, the left-hander against
right. Oh, you'd like to get to Bradley that first time around the lineup, a 319 average against, and then he settles in. 188 that second time and 229 the third time around.
1-2 on Reyes. Runner at second. 1 man out. 1-0 Rays. Bottom of the second. And he goes down on the cutter. Reyes strikes out.
It looked like he was just overmatched on that cutter away. He flies open expecting something inside, and he gets something away. There you see how he was bailing out on that breaking ball.
On Oswaldo Cabrera. He has 8 runs batted in. Grounded. Right side. Backhanded by Lau. And that'll do it. So he works around the leadoff walk. Yankees strand 1 will go to the third. MLB is partnering with Crisis Text Line to increase mental health awareness. Free 24/7 confidential support in English and Spanish. Text MLB to 741-741. Diaz takes outside as we start the third inning. First pitch of the game delayed by 30 minutes because of rain. Grounds crew did a great job getting the tarp off quickly and getting the game going. Grounded to Peraza. 1 away. Here's Aranda. He walked in the first inning. Aranda beat the Yankees on April 19th in a walk-off home run. That's the game where the Yankees had the 4-run lead in the 9th. That's his last home run, and he's hitting 176 in the 11 games since.
You know, watch Warren's motion. And when he starts his windup, he gets in a stretch position, but watch him. He'll step forward with that left leg. Usually you get guys that step back. They'll bring that left leg towards the rubber instead of in front of the rubber. Watch how he steps forward, and then he starts his windup. Usually guys will go towards the rubber because you want balance over the rubber to be able to stay back. The more you spread out, the harder it is sometimes to stay balanced over that rubber. And a lot of pitches will go up in the zone.
High fly ball right center, and that ball is gone. A home run for Aranda. Had not hit one since that walk-off, and the Rays lead 2-0.
Well, it was a fastball upstairs. There you see a four-seam fastball. Hitters count, and it was up about belt high. 409 on that home run.
Meisner fouls it back.
Now you're getting a hitter's count. You get something dead red at 93 miles an hour.
Right in on the hands and fouled away. 0-2 on Meisner. Well, the Rays have not been scoring runs. Last 5 games, they've scored 6 runs total. Last 8 games, they average 1.9 runs per game, hitting 193. That one just missed. further numbers on those last 8 games. Anemic would be the word. They're wasting some pretty good pitching, too. $15 and 18 on the season. Here's Garrett Cole. He was at the welcome home dinner last night. Strike 3. Meisner down looking. And one thing about Cole, I mean, if you're a baseball fan, you have to love watching him pitch. I miss seeing him pitch.
I think everybody's, yes. He's probably hating life on the IL. I've never had an injury like that, and I can't imagine what the rehab process is. It's just not fun being on the IL. You know, before they had such great training staff and medical staff here at Yankee Stadium, they used to ship you out to Tampa. Mr. Steinbrenner always thought, hey, I'm going to take these guys and you're going to go to Tampa, get away from the team. He thought that might get you to heal quicker.
I guess there was that drive to get back to the team.
Well, it's not fun. I mean, you're seeing the team on TV when you're down in Tampa and you're rehabbing, and you want to be there. You want to be a part. And I'm sure Garrett Cole feels the same way. Even last year, you know, he's your second pitching coach in a lot of ways. You see a lot of guys go up to him, and he'll go up to some of the starters and try to help them out through the game as far as pitch selection.
I remember something that Don Mattingly once told me. He said, when you're injured, you're a non-person.
Right.
He said, there's no way you could lead, nothing like that. He says, if you can't play on the field, it's hard for people to hear you.
Right, and I don't think you want to be around it either if you're hurt. You know, they'll ship you out. And you got to move on.
Meade with a fly ball, right field. Bellinger, and that'll do it. Aranda with the home run. He gives the Rays a 2-0 lead. It's time for the Home Depot Getting It Done pitching probables against San Diego come in tomorrow. Nick Pivetta against Carlos Rodon, Game 1. Michael King, former Yankee, against Clark Schmidt, Game 2. And then Dylan Cease against Max Fried. And the W.B. Mason postgame show on Yes will follow Wednesday's game, which will be on Prime. First 2 games will be on Yes.
Well, should be a lot of emotions for Michael King coming back to Yankee Stadium. And Dylan Cease, his name was all over the trade rumor mill during spring training.
Peraza rips one to left field, a base hit for the Yankee shortstop. Leadoff single.
Well, first pitch fastball, an inner half. Get aggressive on it. You have to be. Not a whole lot of offense in this series against Tampa. You got to make some things happen on the base pass as well. Peraza can run.
Trent Grisham, he walked in the first inning. That one is ripped to right field. It's going to be a base hit in front of Meisner. Good base running there by Peraza. Played it halfway and was able to get to second on the single.
Well, that second time around, he gets a cutter. Really didn't do anything. Cutter's to lefty. He's supposed to be inside. That stayed out over the middle of the plate. You see that cutter right down the middle of the plate. Nice job.
Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach, out in the talk with Bradley. I would say without any unofficial stats in front of him, or any official stats in front of me, he goes to the mound more than any pitching coach in baseball.
Tampa Bay is one of the biggest analytical teams.
Yep.
You know, they always have to go out and say, okay, this is how we're going to face them. I don't know if a pitcher has an idea. If Bradley out there knows how to face Judge, how to go about him, or they're going to go out in a situation like this and say, hey, this is how we're going to attack him.
Now, Aaron Boone was asked today, why do you think that Judge is not receiving the Barry Bonds treatment, being intentionally walked all the time? And Boone said it's a different game now than when Bonds played. He said people don't want to just put people on base. He said he's been intentionally walked a couple of times, but he said it's just not going to be as much as it was when Bonds played. This is certainly not a situation for that. 1-0.
I mean, when you get late in the ball game and you're up by a couple runs or a run, I'd put him on every time. So it's those guys in front and behind Judge are going to have to get it done.
1-1 on Judge. Judge went up 3-0 in the count and then had a green light in the first inning, fouled the fastball back, then ended up hitting a fly ball to medium range center field. Ground ball short. There's one. And there's two. A 6-4-3 double play as Peraza moves to third. A broken bat. Ground ball.
Well, it's a curveball off the end. It's a broken bat, like Michael said. Little shovel pass to Lau. Easy double play.
Here's Bellinger, runner at third. 2-0 Rays, bottom of the third. And a strike. One and one. Bellinger with a fly ball to left in the first inning. He's 1 for 9 in the series. Foul ball, 1-2. Last time out, Bradley pitched well against Kansas City. Hard luck loser, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. Walked 3 and struck out 2. Peraza dancing off third, big lead. Two and two. Fouled it straight back. 97 miles an hour.
After a fastball upstairs, sometimes Bradley will go with that split down and away.
Soft ground ball right side. Lau gets it to Aranda, and that'll do it. Yankees first and second, nobody out. They don't score, they leave one. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. It's starting to rain again here at Yankee Stadium. See some of the umbrellas coming out. Cadillac scoreboard, 2-0 Tampa Bay. And some of the crowd trying to get under the underhang. Or overhang, not the underhang. Overhang. Foul back by Jankowski as we start the fourth inning.
It hangs under some seats or over, yeah.
We got the windshield wiper working. And a strike, 0-2. Will you bother playing in rain?
No, I didn't mind it. It actually sometimes gave you a better grip on the baseball, especially when it got hotter.
Up the middle and past a diving Peraza into center field. Second hit for Jankowski.
Yeah, Warren got ahead of him 0-2. That was a changeup right down the middle of the plate. It was supposed to be away. You see where Escara was setting up. He wanted that out of the zone. That's too good a pitch, 0-2. Yeah, when the baseballs they get rubbed up sometimes. There's so much mud on them that, you know, when it's colder and it's rain, it's a little tougher to get a grip. But when it's humid and the weather's nice,
runner goes, ball fouled away.
It sometimes gives you a better grip when the baseball is just a little bit damp.
You could tell, Jeff, watching these 3 games, their game plan was to run. They didn't have an opportunity on Friday because they only had 1 hit. But they stole 6 bases yesterday. They've already stolen a base today, and they're trying for another one. Oh, and 2.
Well, pitchers have to figure out how to control the running game and help out the catchers. You're always stealing off the pitcher. Very rarely do you steal off a catcher. Whether it's a bad throw, that's probably the only time you're really stealing off the catcher. Whether you got to slide step, you got to vary your times to the plate, you got to go over.
How much did it take away from you when you had a slide step?
0. And I think with analytics, I think that's why you don't see a lot of guys slide step. I always, coming in as a reliever, you're coming in with mental base almost all the time. And you see that he doesn't have a real high leg kick, so he's not real slow. Warren is to the plate, so you really have to get a decent jump. This is a good pitch. See, it's quick, so you have Jankowski over there with his hands on his knees, probably not going.
So let me get this straight. You didn't slide step, or you
I did. I had to, because Mel Stoudemire actually really, the late Mel Stoudemire actually really helped me out. I used to have a stiff back leg, a leg that your leg that's on the rubber, and it was stiff. So it was straight. And even though I slide stepped then, I was still a little slow, and runners could get a good jump off me. And he taught me, because you're automatically breaking down that back leg anyway, to bend it instead of keep it straight. And it quickens up your delivery. And if you're breaking your hands and you're getting on top of the baseball, or me 3/4, you're not losing any velocity, and you're not losing anything on your breaking pitch. I used to do it a lot with nobody on, with guys, the hitters that had the leg kick. You could really throw them off. Like if I faced a Ruben Sierra that had a real big leg kick at the plate. Now a lot of hitters have the leg kick. They're trying to time you and your release point. It really messes them up when you slide step, because they can't time that wind up like they try to do.
1 and 2 on Taylor Walls.
I just think with analytics, I think they figure out that, oh, it's probably taking some off of your fastball, or taking something off of your off speed. But if you do it correctly, it really doesn't.
Coney said he would get aggravated with guys up there. Just steal so I can pitch.
Well, I mean, if you have kind of David Cohn stuff, I mean, even with Pedro Martinez with the Red Sox, he didn't care. He says, go ahead, you want to steal, I'm going to get the hitter out. I can't worry about you. You're not going anywhere if I get the guys out at the plate. And same with Cohn. Cohn had great stuff. I mean, nowadays you're seeing a lot of guys take that stolen base, and they're scoring on it because pitchers can't put guys away.
Line drive, it's a base hit to left field off the bat of Walls. Dominguez bobbles, regains, and Jankowski stays at second.
Well, they had Walls to pull. He's left-handed. That would have been right at the third baseman. Another pitch. This is just center cut, and that's the problem with Will Warren on occasion. He has a hard time commanding his pitches and trying to hit the corners, and when we're right down the middle, it's a little bit easier for the Rays to get good wood on it, and Walls just goes the other way.
Here's Simpson. Shows bunt, takes outside. Catches interference as Simpson hit Ascara's glove, and that'll load the bases.
Now that will go down as an E2. There you see Ascara. He's going out, and it just clips that pocket. With catchers being so close to the hitter, they're always trying to steal strikes. You know, they start with that glove and they'll frame a pitch. He'll go down and then bring it back up. And when they bring it back up, they go out and they get really close to the hitter. Catchers never used to be that close to the plate.
Ground ball and through for a base hit for Lau. Jankowski scores. Wall scores. It's a 2-run single for Lau, and the Rays lead 4-0.
Well, Lau struck out the first 2 at bats, and this is the 3rd time around the lineup. A fastball up, first pitch fastball, he just takes the other way. There you see Peraza playing up the middle. No stride, real short swing going the other way. That's the only 7th at bat that Will Warren has had the 3rd time around. It's a 400 average against Will Warren.
Cooking up something special with Hexclad. Join the hybrid revolution at hexclad.com. Last 11 games, Diaz starting to heat up. 325, 5 extra base hits, and 6 RBI. No one up in the Yankee bullpen. We told you early the bullpen's somewhat sapped right now. And when you use your long man, Ryan Yarbrough, that kind of limits your options. Diaz takes inside 1-0.
Well, for a young pitcher like Will Warren and not a whole lot of experience, this is actually a good thing that you can really learn from to try to get yourself out of a jam, make some pitches.
That's grounded up the middle, grabbed there by Peraza. He has no play. Coming home now is Simpson, and he will score easily. He is so fast, they had no chance, and so it's 5-0 Rays.
Well, it's a heck of a stop by Peraza going up the middle. He couldn't get the ball out of his glove, and then once that ball goes to the ground, watch Simpson. He didn't take off right away. He sees it go to the ground, then he takes off, and the ball hits the mound. It might have been a close play at home if that ball didn't hit the back of the mound and pop up.
Be interesting to see if they give him an RBI on that. And they did. Pitch to Aranda is a strike. He's walked and hit a home run. So 5-0 Rays. Fouled away, 0-2. Check out the Audi Electric Moment. Experience a fully electric Audi vehicle at your local Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Well, pitch upstairs. That was in the 3rd inning in the Yankee bullpen.
One and two. So not only is there nobody up in the bullpen, but the tarp is covering the mounds in the bullpen. So at this point, no intention to get somebody up. They need some innings out of Warren.
Well, that home run from Aranda was the first home run Warren's given up on the fastball this year. Only the 4th total.
Aranda calls time. That one just misses. 3-2.
Well,
Ronda on deck.
Sorry, Ronda's going to look dead red. If you're going to throw a fastball, make sure it's away. It might be a nice time for a changeup. Get him out in front, maybe get a double play.
And he went with the fastball outside, so the bases are reloaded. Crowd starting to get restless at the stadium. Now somebody's out taking the tarp off the mound in the bullpen. And a strike to Meisner. Meisner, the 8th batter to come to the plate. Talamatzik will begin to heat up. Fourth inning, 5-0 Rays, bases loaded. 1-1.
Now, like I mentioned, this is a teaching moment. You would love to see if Warren can get himself out of his own jam. Looks like he's aiming the ball a little bit. Let it go. Yeah, 81 pitches. 91 has been his high this year.
Tap slowly. Warren will come home and gets he out. Gets Lau on the force. Score that 1-2. Fielder's choice for Meisner. So the bases remain loaded, 2 outs.
Well, good play here and good instinct to going home and get that lead runner.
And that'll bring up Meade. And a strike. One and two. Meisner, or should I say Meade, 0 for 2. Ground ball to second and fly ball to right. And the righty deals. 2-2. There's no place to put Meade with the bases loaded. Just missed with the sweeper. 3-2. So the runners will go 3-2, 2 outs.
And the one thing I like to see Warren do on occasion is come inside to a righty, and it opens up. You'll probably get a swing and miss. That was a good sweeper down and away that you should have gotten a swing and miss. But if you're not coming inside, that hitter sees it so much better when everything is away.
Strike 3, big strikeout. As he avoids further trouble. Rays score 3. They lead 3. 5-0 Tampa Bay. Leaders brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Most multi-hit games in the majors this year. Aaron Judge 17, Paul Goldschmidt 15, and Pete Alonso 14. Those help the batting average, though, multi-hit games. Here's Goldschmidt to lead off. Bottom of the 4th inning. He takes a strike. 5-0 Tampa Bay on a rainy Sunday in New York.
Top three, little New York state of mind right there.
1-1.
So you missed
two hits. They had 5 base runners yesterday. That's the fewest this season. They didn't have a walk yesterday, and they had only 1 plate appearance with runners in scoring position. Fly ball right field, Meisner. 1 out.
So you missed the Kentucky Derby totally yesterday because of the homecoming dinner.
They actually had it on the back.
Oh, did they?
Yep. Looked muddy.
Yes.
Dominguez swings through the fastball. He walked in the second inning. One. Spins out of the way of that one. 2-1. Time for the poncho. Two and two. That shot we had yesterday of the dad with his daughter on his shoulders, that's gone viral.
I saw that.
Yeah, her hands over his eyes. He still caught the baseball.
Little dad power.
You know, if StatCast came up with a catch probability there, it would be very low. It's hard to catch when you can't see.
Yeah, next to 0 maybe. Luckily, it was at his chest and not anywhere else.
Right back to Taj Bradley. 2 outs. Here it is. Dad, I'm going to cover your eyes right now. Yeah, good luck. 2% catch probability.
Dad, you can do everything else. Let's see if you can catch blindfolded.
And then he gave it to him. And there's a strike to J.C. Escara. One and one. Wall shades up the middle for Escara. Meade almost playing where a shortstop would play. He's their third baseman. The 2-1. 2-2. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. 5-0 Rays. Rubber game of this 3-game set. Grounded foul. Along with Jeff Nelson and Meredith Marakovitz, I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for spending part of your Sunday afternoon with us. Tampa Bay 5, New York 0. Bottom of the 4th inning. Three and 2 on Escara. Yankees trying for the 2nd straight game to pick up their 20th win. They're 19-14. Still lead the American League East. Grounded to first base. Aranda will take it himself. And the Yankees go down in order. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go to the 5th. 5-0 Tampa Bay. Well, it's a new season of names and a new season of numbers. Join host Gracie Cashman and iconic New York athletes for a deep dive into the digits that define their careers. Watch the season 2 premiere of The Story of My Number, presented by the New York Lottery, Wednesday, May 14th, following Yankees coverage on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Anthony Volpe will be featured on the first episode. Audi scoreboard, it's 5-0, and we'll look at the 6 Yankee strikeouts brought to you by Audi and the 2025 Audi Q6. Visit your local Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Well, he's got a really good fastball if he can command it to both sides, and then that sweeper and changeup plays off of it so well. And that was a really nice pitch there to end the 4th. The strikeout on Meade.
One and one. So they have 7 hits, and 3 of them have been with 2 strikes. So Warren has not been able to put them away with 2 strikes. 1 and 2. So here we are with 2 strikes again.
Well, he's gotten ahead of the majority of the game. He just needs a little bit better fastball command. That secondary, the sweeper and the changeup, hasn't mixed in a curveball. Doesn't throw that very often. 17 of 24 first pitch strikes.
2 and 2. Also, Jeff, when you get to 2 strikes and it's hard to put the batter away, you're just throwing more pitches.
Right. You're talking about 7, 8, 9 pitch at bats, and then you wind up making a mistake, especially a young pitcher like Warren.
And he does strike out Janikowski on the fastball. So 1 away here in the 5th.
Well, you get ahead and you wind up throwing some non-competitive pitches, and then you paint the corner with a 4-seam fastball.
You know, it's a good formula what Zach Littell said, who got the start yesterday. He said, I want to throw first pitch strikes to 80% of the batters I face, and then I want to retire everybody in 4 to 5 pitches. He said, I don't care about strikeouts. Strikeouts, they take too many pitches.
Well, that's commanding your off speed, knowing when to use your fastball, and that's exactly what Littell did yesterday. And he was able to spot his fastball on both sides of the plate. Another guy that really doesn't have an overpowering fastball, nothing in 95 to 97. He's in the low 90s, just like Will Warren. You've got to be able to command the fastball on both sides of the plate if you're not throwing 97, 98.
1 and 2. I've never been, I wonder how you felt about this, Jeff, a proponent of wasting a pitch on 0-2. I know they used to have fines if you gave up a hit on an 0-2 pitch, but with the pitch count being such a thing, you should be looking to shave pitches off your pitch count. So go after somebody on 0-2.
Well, you got to read swings for one, and it's something that pitchers don't do too often. You know, if you get somebody 0-2, if all of a sudden he swings at a bad slider to get it to 0-2, you got to go back to that slider. There's no sense of trying to climb the ladder with a non-competitive fastball upstairs. Also, you'd like to see, if you're going to go 0-2, set up that next pitch. You know, if you're all about getting the hitter away, and this is not a bad pitch right here. I know his Scar is setting up outside, and he reaches back, but Marquez is right over his right shoulder and sees that pitch well. You got to be. I've always been a proponent of throwing inside. You know, I had to anyway when I pitched, so I could get guys off my slider away. You don't see very many hitters get pitched inside anymore. You know, pitchers love to stay away. So if you're trying to get a hitter away, you got to try to set him up somehow. You can't let him keep covering the outside part of the plate. And then if you keep going further out, he's just going to say, well, that's a ball. I'm not swinging at that out there.
Yeah, it's the difference between a wasted pitch and a waste pitch.
Right.
3-2. Strike 3. Work it down looking, 2 away.
That's one of the reasons why you see a lot of pitches per at bat. You'll see that 7, 8, 9 pitches per at bat because guys don't set up pitches anymore.
Well, with Walls coming up, Boone's going to take the ball from Warren. Tyler Matzik will come on. 2 outs, nobody on top of the 5th. Yankees are down 5-0. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Optimum Fiber. Get Optimum, the fastest fiber internet. Don't take slow for an answer. By your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com. And by the New York Lottery, get out there and play. Chrysler Building, sneaky great building in New York City. Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Art Deco, just absolutely stunning. That was the original home of the Yes Network.
Was it?
When we started, yep. Our offices were in that building. Tyler Matzik comes on. Last pitched on Tuesday. Walls fouls it away. 0-1. So they get 4 2/3 out of Warren, and he did go 3 times through the lineup except for Walls, who reached on an E6 and singled. So not exactly the length that they would have dreamed of, but he didn't get knocked out early. Essentially pitches 5 innings, and now the bullpen will have to cover 13 outs.
Well, career high 8 strikeouts. You like that. You like how he finished, but 102 pitches in 4 2/3.
One and 2 on Walls. Reached on the fielder's choice E6 in the 2nd, singled in the 4th. 2 and 2. Grounded foul. Still 2 and 2.
More experience, you'll understand. You see Garrett Cole over there talking to him a little bit. I don't understand how to command the fastball a little bit.
Deep drive, left field. Dominguez back. He's on the track, and he can't make the play. Ball bounds onto the warning track, and Walls picks up a double.
Well, this would have been a tough play, but if Dominguez gets back to the wall, he probably makes this catch. I think he just lost track of where that wall was. It's a tough play anyway. Almost gets his spike caught in that screen.
Ground ball, going to be a tough play. Peraza field, fires, not in time. Simpson just outran the baseball.
Well, there's really nothing you could do if you're Peraza. This wasn't hit very hard, and you have to go into the second base hole. And Simpson just beats this out. You really can't charge it because of where you're playing a shortstop. You have to stay on that shortstop side of the base. You can't cheat. And he just beats it.
So 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. And here's Brandon Lau. And they haven't picked off. Now they'll throw to 3rd, and diving back was Walls. They knew they couldn't get Simpson. So Goldschmidt elected to go to third to try to get Walls sleeping. He wasn't.
Well, Walls faked like he was going. Watch Walls. So you see Simpson take off right away. Walls faked like he was going to go home to try to draw that throw.
Coors Light beating the pressure, and it's about Chandler Simpson. 14 games in the big leagues, 6 of 7 stolen bases, 8 runs scored, so he's made his impact felt. Tell you one thing, it's the 5th inning. This has not been a clean game by the Yankees, kind of sloppy defensively. Plays they should have made. Some were scored errors, some were not. Hard to win games that way. 2-1.
Well, one of the keys, clean it up. They haven't been able to clean it up in this game. There you see the errors. Two big errors.
What was that?
And even that play to Dominguez, you watch, if he gets back to the wall right away, he gets turned around. He goes left first and then has to turn around to his right side to pick up the ball. That might have caused him to misplay that ball. It still would have been a tough play, but that's something maybe he thinks he could have made.
Well, Warren came on to start the 5th and struck out the first 2, and I guess high pitch count got him. And they bring in Matzik, the double that probably should have been caught, a speed single, and now a walk. So they face the dangerous Yandy Diaz with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And the 102 pitch count for Warren, that's a career high.
Yeah, that's a lot of pitches for 4 2/3. Like we mentioned, he got ahead. He just wasn't able to finish hitters off. You saw 0-2, 1-2. Next thing you know, 3-2, a lot of foul balls.
Line drive right field. Bellinger's there to retire Diaz. And the Rays leave the bases loaded. We're halfway through. Time for today's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the Yankees. Anthony Volpe gave everybody a scare yesterday on the dive into the hole at shortstop. MRI and X-rays negative, currently listed as day-to-day, not in today's starting lineup. He has a sore left shoulder. Pablo Reyes takes a strike from Taj Bradley as we start the bottom of the 5th inning.
And Michael, just a little concerning with Anthony Volpe. Not only is he not in the lineup, but after the game, he talked about feeling a pop in his shoulder. He's never had shoulder issues in the past. He had never felt a sensation like that. And here's the play right here in the 8th inning as he tries to make it. And you see him automatically grab his left shoulder. He did stay in the game. He is encouraged by the fact that the X-ray came back negative and the MRI came back negative. But still, guys, something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, the pop, you know, Boone did say, you know, they saw some old stuff in there, but nothing that was concerning. As you said, there's sometimes adhesions.
Yeah, you're always holding your breath when somebody makes a diving catch or sliding into a base head first and they start grabbing their shoulder.
Walls gets Reyes. And the thing about Volpe, he's been really an Iron Man for the Yankees in the 3 years he's been here. He plays almost every single day. You have to pull him out of the lineup. But you look at the end of the year, he's played 159, 160 games. So he wants to play. For him not to be in there today must be pretty sore.
Yeah, well, it's good news that the MRI came back clean and he actually finished the game.
Grounded to first, backing up Aranda. He'll make the play and flip to Bradley. 2 away. Here's Oswald Peraza. So Volpe's first year, rookie year, he played 159 games. Last year, 160. And he played every single game this year, 33 of 33 before today.
Well, hopefully he's back in there tomorrow night against the Padres.
Fly ball left field, Jankowski. And the Yankees go down in order. It's an official game here at the stadium. Yankees trail 5-0 after 5.
Hey everybody, Bob Lorenz with your Audi update. Royals and Orioles today tied at 5 in the 7th until Bobby Witt Jr. hits one to left center that just keeps on flying. His 4th homer of the year, one of 9 home runs combined in this game. KC has 5, Baltimore has 4. KC tried to take 2 of 3 in the series. They lead 7-5 in the 7th, fellas.
Let's go around the majors. Roki Sasaki, first career major league win last night in Atlanta. Pete Crow Armstrong, last 17 games, he's been amazing. 9 home runs, 21. Ribby and Tristan Cassis out for the rest of the season. Ruptured left patella tendon. That was an ugly injury as he was trying to beat out a hit to first base. And that's a long recovery for that, Jeff.
Yeah, and he went to lunge at first base to try to beat out a throw, and that leg almost hyperextended, and he went down.
Two 2-0 on a home run in the 3rd inning. We'll take a look at it on StatCast 3D by Google Cloud. 103.8 off the bat, 409 feet. His longest home run of the season, his 5th home run of the season. There's a strike. Carlos Carrasco getting some throws in the bullpen. Now, he would have been scheduled to pitch on Wednesday against San Diego, but because they used essentially an opener to replace Clark Schmidt, he's been moved back so he can actually pitch in this game a couple of innings, get some innings under his belt, and save the bullpen. Line drive, base hit. So Ronda's been on base 4 times, 2 walks, a home run, and a single.
This is just a slider, and you see just hangs over the middle of the plate, and Ronda did a nice job. Let that ball travel and go the other way. Well, Carrasco's had 3 days rest, so he could probably eat up the rest of the game if he needed it.
And then if you do that, you've reset your bullpen.
Yes.
For the Padres.
And you're going to need to, because you fired through them. Besides Fried's start going 7, you only needed 6 outs out of that bullpen yesterday with Yarbrough going 4, and then a couple of pitchers with 27 to 30 pitches. Hamilton, Leiter Jr., and then Cruz going 2.
0-2 on Meisner. Meisner's 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts. And a fielder's choice. Grounded foul again.
I mean, you'd love to get some length out of Rodon tomorrow. Well, Clark Schmidt throws Tuesday. You're usually getting about 12 outs out of that bullpen.
Still 0-2.
When you see Meisner bail like that on that slider, you got to set up a little further outside, and you got to really expand the zone. You shouldn't be swinging at that slider and catching any of it.
And that one's tipped into the glove for a strikeout. Meisner strikes out for the 3rd time today.
Well, that's a good effective pitch, even though Escar was setting outside. You know, old school, you're coming in just like that. After he spits on that slider away, you're like, all right, I'm coming in with the fastball. That was a good pitch.
Pitch to Meade, up and away, 1-0. High fly ball, deep left field. Dominguez there. He'll put it away in left center for the second out. Now, when you take a look at the Yankee rotation, there are 3 guys in the rotation that were supposed to be there. The other 2, Warren and Carrasco, they were depth pieces. They were not supposed to be in the starting rotation. Well, the starters who were supposed to be in the rotation at the start of spring training, Fried, Rodon, and Schmidt, have a combined 2.66 ERA. Every other start, 6.13 combined. Schmidt's going to pitch Tuesday against his former teammate Michael King, and also in that dugout, Garrett Cole. That was obviously a big blow. Cole is going to be the ace, followed by Fried. And Luis Gil, last year's Rookie of the Year, had a tremendous season for the Yankees. They hope to get him back in a month or so, maybe even a little bit more than that.
Well, you had Rodon and Fried. If Cole and Gil wouldn't have gotten hurt, there's 4 starters right there that get you deep in the game and eliminates a lot of those early outs that the bullpen had to get. And you're talking possibly, maybe 6 to 9 outs on occasion from the bullpen. That makes your bullpen even better.
And that's off the glove of a diving Reyes, and it rolls into right field. Aranda will go to third. Jankowski reaches with his 3rd hit of the game.
No, left on left. This is just a fastball. You see Escar again setting up on the outside half. You got to get it there. You got to have that fastball command. You got to spot the outside part, and that catches too much of the plate. And now you look, you have basically Fried that gets you deep in the game almost every start. Rodon will get there, and then the other 3 starters are giving you 4 or 5 innings. And you're getting 12 to 15 outs out of that bullpen.
Rortvedt swings at the first pitch. Shallow left. And Dominguez calls off Peraza. That'll do it. And the Rays strand 2. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Last 10 and Name That Yankee brought to you by Prevagen, made for your brain. Good numbers here. 328 on base percentage of 415. 12 All-Star. I mean, are we embarrassing ourselves with this? Or
yes, exactly.
I refuse to take part in this.
That should be a 0.
It's too easy.
A 1?
A 1. It should be a -5.
Yes. I can even get that.
Bad job, don't you think?
I think. Yeah. And this is, you start out really good, and then just a poor effort on Sunday.
Well, how do the same people that gave us Reed Brignac
then
give us this?
And then they slap this on us.
Awful.
Aren't the crossword puzzles supposed to be the hardest on Sunday?
No, he said Saturday because that's the Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And, our producer's trying to tell me, well, this is for the young people that might not know who this guy is. Well, with that thinking, that was right into the Tampa Bay television booth just to our left. Why not? I mean, it could be Reed Brignac today, too. They don't know it.
This is Saturday. Nobody knows. You have young kids watching. There you go. Any young kid, they're at the park on the weekends.
Ground ball and through for base hit. So Grisham, 2 more hits as he leads out the 6th inning with a single.
Well, he got a splitty. He went out and got it. There's that change up, split change.
Here's Judge, 0 for 2 today. Grounded at third. He's going to take the out at first as Grisham advances to second. There's Cody Bellinger. One and 0.
That was a real smart play by the third baseman Meade. You're rushing your throw over to second. You have a 5-0 lead. Just go ahead and get the runner at first and Judge.
Two and 0. Double barrel, Rodriguez and Montgomery. High drive, right field, Meisner back, track, wall, see ya. A 2-run home run from Bellinger. It's his 200th career home run, and now it's 5-2 Rays.
We're looking for production. The Yankees are looking for production after Judge. And Goldschmidt really having a good year as well. Well, you need that from Bellinger.
Goldschmidt takes outside. 4th home run for Bellinger. He now has 18 runs batted in, despite not hitting the clip that he expects. So 18 runs batted in. Hitting .202. Cody had such a great spring training and was hoping to carry that into the season, but it's been a little tougher during the season. Run production still pretty good. And now break it down with the hitting coach, James Rowson.
Well, he got a good fastball to hit.
Check swing by Goldschmidt. The count 3-1. Grounded. Foul ball.
Well, 2-0 fastball. Watch where this is. Right in the wheelhouse of Cody Bellinger. You're just dropping the head of the bat. There's a 4-seam fastball. Right in his swing path. Bellinger has that big loop in his swing. You're throwing it down there. Forget about it.
And Goldschmidt works a walk with 1 out.
Well, there you see, he just drops the head of the bat. Anything about knee high and in, he's going to be able to drive with some authority.
Well, that drive followed by the Goldschmidt walk. Well, that knocks Bradley out of the game. Now the Rays will turn to the bullpen, holding on to a 3-run lead. It's 5-2. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. and by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. Well, Kevin Cash calls on one of his two left-handers, Mason Montgomery. Throws hard, 99.1 mile per hour fastball. And Dominguez has to turn around to his weaker side, the right side, against the lefty. Pumps in 98 for strike.
And Montgomery threw on Friday. He's the one that gave up the big 3-run homer to Goldschmidt.
One and one. Crowd of 43,349 announced here at the stadium. Looking for the Yankees to rally. Two and one. Montgomery gave up the game-winning home run to Paul Goldschmidt on Friday. Now works a 2-2 count on Dominguez. Had been a starter in the minors till the middle of last year. But relieving seems like it suits him. 2-2. Hit sharply. Oh, what a grab by Meade. There's one. On to first. It's a double play. What a play by Meade, taking an extra base hit away from Dominguez. Well, on Star Wars Day, one of the Yankee stars steps up with a big 2-run home run. 200th of his career, and it's 5-2 Rays. Well, let's check out the T-Mobile coverage cam.
Well, this is a double play. 107 miles an hour off the bat of Dominguez. Outstanding play by Meade. It's a one-hopper, a shot down the third baseline. 5-4-3 inning-ending double play.
You know, I have my own personal coverage cam. I don't know if you realize it. And it was on the first base umpire, Lance Barrett, who didn't feel like it was that urgent a thing to make the out call on the end of the double play.
He just walked away?
No, he just like waited, and then he threw it with his right hand. I mean, it was a fairly close play at first. Carlos Carrasco comes on, and Walls gets another hit. The guy came in hitting 151. He has 3 hits against the Yankees today. Let's watch Lance Barrett here. Great play by Meade. There's one. And let's wait until Lance Barrett decides to punch him out. Come on.
What's he waiting there? What's he looking at?
He wants
Making sure he catches the ball?
Wants to mess up every radio and television call.
And now you just gave him the airtime that he wanted.
No, I don't think he wants it for that. And a push bunt. Carrasco bobbles, and that cost him the play. Simpson's just too fast. And they give him a base hit.
Well, you utilize that speed, and he can fly. He gets a pitch up, a little bit easier to bunt. You just can't handle it. I don't know if you get him or not, even if he comes up with it clean.
Really different dimension in today's baseball. There aren't many players like that.
No. There's not a lot of typical leadoff guys. I mean, a lot of times teams are just using on-base guys. If, you know, Yankees haven't had one since Brett Gardner, really.
Brandon Lau takes inside. Ball got away from Ascara. Runner stay put.
Oh, nice job keeping that ball in front of you. You're not going to be able to get it off the chest protector. Best just to slap it with your glove. That was a Ken Kaiser. That's who I was trying to think of. Remember Ken Kaiser behind the plate? He'd wait till the last minute and like pump his fist down.
Tim McClellan also took a long time. He was a very good umpire. But I've been told by players they'll say strike.
But for you guys, it had to be a nightmare up here because you had no idea.
John Sterling would go crazy. Yeah. He's ruining my rhythm.
Yeah, you could hear him on the field. When I pitched, you could hear him, but he'd wait till the last minute.
But I don't think that Barrett set out there.
Oh, no.
And a walk, so the base is quickly loaded. Well, from the umpire's manual, Jeff, Major League umpires are expected to increase the assertiveness of their calls, signal, and voice as the play becomes closer or more exciting. A casual, laid-back mechanic is not appropriate in a crucial close play, nor are over-elaborate, excessive signals an acceptable technique.
What's going to happen to him? Are you a little slap on the wrist? That was an inappropriate call. Needs to be more assertive with that.
0-1 on Diaz. Carrasco on in relief. Third Yankee pitcher. Warren started. Then Matzik, and now Carrasco. Now, there's a big moment in this game. The Yankees with the 2-run home run, they're right back in it. But if you let the Rays put up a crooked number, it becomes much more difficult to come back. They're playing a double play depth. Just missed off the outside corner.
No, because you had to use so many relievers yesterday, and you had a few of them reach some pitch counts. You might not be able to go to them today. Hamilton, possibly Leiter Jr., Cruz throwing 2 innings. This causes you to use a Carrasco to try to get as many innings as possible. You had a short outing with Warren. Matzik's not a guy that's going to give you multiple innings.
2-2. He waves at that one. A big strikeout for Carrasco. Now you get a ground ball. You can get out of this.
No, 2-seam fastball just kept riding in. And Diaz couldn't hold up his swing. The only thing you're doing with that is fouling it off your body if you get a piece.
And the pitch to Aranda is up and away. Aranda's been on base 4 times. 2 walks, a single, and a home run. 5th home run of the year. And that's going to be a base hit through the right side. Wall scores. Simpson scores. The throw to third, not in time as Lau advances. It's a 2-run single for Aranda. And it's 7-2 Tampa Bay.
Well, because Carrasco doesn't have an overpowering fastball, he's got the 2-seam fastball in the upper 80s, and there you see that split change. And when it's elevated, even though it's off the end of the bat, it's a little bit easier to get a piece of wood on. It really is not fooling you. It's only about 4 miles an hour off of his fastball.
First and third, 1 out. Here's Meisner. Popped up, shallow left. Dominguez makes the play for the second out. Support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. And here's Meade. First and third, 2 outs. Almost hit him.
I like going inside, and this, even though you don't see this too often, I'm a big proponent of fastballs inside. It sets up the outside part of the plate, just like that right there. That was that slider. Hitters don't like it in. You want to eliminate a lot of foul balls, a lot of pitches per at bat. Throw inside.
Fly ball center field. Grisham. out number 3, but the Rays scored 2. 3 hits and 2 men left. At the end of 6.5, it's Tampa Bay 7 and the Yankees 2. But we're going to stay right here for the 7th inning stretch as they honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you rise and remove your caps? And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest. United States Army Private First Class John D'Alessio from Ozone Park, who served in the Korean War. The Yankees say, thank you, John, for your sacrifice and service to our nation. And now, please join us in singing along with Robert Merrill's rendition of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her. Through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white before. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Time for your Ford Studio Update. Bob and Jack with you. And Will Warren and the Yankees just having a hard time getting into a groove today.
Yeah, sluggish afternoon for the Yankees, sluggish afternoon for Warren. We always talk about the evolution of a young pitcher, Bob. When your stuff is good enough to strike out 8 in 4 2/3 innings, there's something there to latch onto. But too many base runners in this game, too much inconsistency from Warren. The Yankees are down 5. It could be worse. The Rays have left 14 men on base.
Dave Valley joins us on the postgame. Look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you, guys. 7-14-0 for Tampa Bay, 2-4-2 for the Yankees. Bradley went 5 1/3. Warren 4 2/3. Aranda 3 for 3, 2 walks. Big day. Cody Bellinger's 200th career home run. Start of the game delayed by 30 minutes because of rain. Manuel Rodriguez is on to face J.C. Escaro. Pitch is high. We saw him on Friday. So I mentioned that last night was a Yankee welcome home dinner. It's a yearly occurrence. The Yankees and their fans raised $2.4 million, which is a record for the Yankee Foundation, helps communities in the Bronx. And honored in the dinner, CeCe Sabathia. Yeah. He's going into the Hall of Fame. He gave a great speech. And John Sterling for the Pride of the Yankees Award. And John gave a wonderful speech as well. And then toward the end of the night, Aaron Boone gets up and we'll talk about his team. And before he talked about his team, he talked about John Sterling and how he loves baseball on the radio and he loves John. And then he told something that, hey, this is 8th year managing the Yankees. I never knew he did this. If the Yankees win a game, he'll go down the step and he will, congratulate his coaches.
Right.
And as he's doing it, he'll go, Yankees win. Yankees win.
Really? Every time?
Every single time they've ever won a game. And that's obviously honoring John Sterling.
Well, Sterling should be a Hall of Famer as well, don't you think?
You would think so. 36 years and doing it the way he's done it. But just a nice bit of information by Boone that I've never heard before. His coaches have heard it, obviously.
Yes.
So Escaro works a walk, and that brings out Kyle Snyder.
You had a big crowd? How many people wind up?
A lot of people. The place was jammed.
Is this a little late to have that? Don't they usually have it
They used to have it like after opening day.
Right. We used to have it every time we came off. It seemed like we started on the West Coast all the time.
And then opening day, and then you have that night, and then you have a day off the next day. That for many years, that's the way they did it. But it's been a little later as the years go by. So now Bibas is going to pinch hit for Reyes. Ground ball second base. There's one on to first. Not in time.
Well, not a quick turn. Did he get in there? Yeah, he was there. Slow transfer from Lau, the second baseman, to Walls, the shortstop. Unable to complete that double play.
Just beat him. So we added it up, Jeff. Since 2018, the Yankees have had 644 wins, including the postseason. Third most by any team in baseball. Dodgers first, Astros second, then the Yankees. So he has said Yankees win 644 times.
And he's hoping for more.
I think he would have liked 3 more last year.
Yeah.
One, 1-2. We're in the 7th inning. It's 7-2. Tampa Bay over New York. Tapped slowly over the mound. They have one out. They make it at first. Moving to second is Bibas. Hey, tomorrow on the Bombers homestand continues with a can't-miss matchup as Fernando Tatis Jr. and the Padres come to town. Coverage begins at 6 with Audi batting practice in the pregame. Then first pitch is scheduled for shortly after 7 on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Should be a fun series.
Michael, the Yankees just cannot string hits together. There's only been one time in this game that they've had 2 people on base. Get a guy on, then a double play. Get a guy on, inning ending. That was in the 3rd inning.
And Jeff, we said yesterday they had 5 base runners the whole game, the fewest of the season. They didn't walk yesterday, and they had only 1 plate appearance with runners in scoring position. 2-1.
The Rays have played them tough here at Yankee Stadium since 2020, 23-18. It's not bad.
Two and 2 on Peraza. Peraza 1 for 2.
Now with Rodriguez, he throws a lot of sliders. That fastball upstairs. 97 and 98. Here comes that slider down and away.
And a walk to Peraza. And that brings it back to the top of the order and Trent Grisham. Four runs scored in the last 2 games for the Yankees. They average 5.5 for the season. Only the Cubs average more. So here's Grisham, been on base 3 times, a walk and 2 singles. And scored a run. Judge on deck. And a strike.
You taking a look at the standings out in the NL West?
Crazy,
the
right?
Padres coming in. You have 3 teams with 20-plus wins: the Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants. Then you have Arizona at 17. That might be the toughest division in baseball right now.
You might get all 3 wild cards out of that division. And they all have 13 games against the Rockies.
Right.
You can't win. So that will help them in matching up with teams in other divisions.
Yeah, Rockies 6-27.
Kind of like last year's AL Central with the White Sox.
And you never would have thought 3 teams would have came out of the Central.
Yep. 1-2. Popped up, shallow left. Jankowski will put it away, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 men left. We go to the 8th. It's time for the upcoming schedule brought to you by your local Tri-State Buick dealers. Padres come to town for 3 starting tomorrow night. Thursday, the Yankees travel to the West Coast. 3 in Sacramento against the A's and 3 in Seattle against the Mariners. And then they come back home for what should be a very exciting Subway Series Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here in the Bronx. Pitch up and away to Jankowski. Bebos takes over at second.
Michael, that's not an easy road trip. The A's are in second place in that West. 19-16, 3 games over 500.
Popped up. Dominguez calls off Peraza. And, you know, you're experiencing that ballpark for the first time, right, too. There's Ben Rortvedt, 0 for 3 with a walk, 3 for 38 this year, backing up Danny Jansen. And his bat was pretty good last year when he was essentially the starter. Englert warming up for the Rays. Rays lead by 5, 7-2. One and one. Lights have been on here at the stadium since first pitch was at 2:05. Rained a little bit mid-game, but fairly dry since then. Another fly ball to left field. Dominguez makes the play. Well, this year marks Yogi Berra's 100th birthday, and the Yankees have a special giveaway to help commemorate it. On Friday, June 6th, the first 18,000 guests will receive a special Yogi Berra U.S. Navy bobblehead that recognizes his military service, courtesy of State Farm. Tickets are going fast, so get your tickets today at Yankees.com. Also on this day, in 1965, Yogi made his first start for the Mets. So
really?
People forget that because he managed the Yankees in 64, then was relieved of his duties after they went to 7 games against the Cardinals and ended up reuniting with Casey Stengel with the Mets. So this was his first start. How about this? I mean, that's baseball, Susan. I mean, Taylor Walls has 4 hits.
And I think all 4 hits were to the other side. Look, he just shortens up his swing, gets a pitch on the outside half, doesn't try to do too much with it. There you see where he's playing. Just gets past Cabrera, who's in on the grass.
Jeff, with the 4 hits, he's hitting 192. Came into the game hitting 151. Eighth inning, 7-2 Rays. That's the 15th hit for Tampa Bay. They've left 14 runners on base, so it could be worse than 7-2. Fly ball, center field. Grisham makes the play. took a base hit away from Simpson. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's time for the Optimum Don't Take Slow for an Answer replay.
Well, this is definitely not taking it slow. He can fly. Chandler Simpson. This was in that 7th inning. He's been on base 4 times, also stole a base and then scored on a ground ball to short that Peraza had a hard time handling. He can do everything. Speed kills.
Mason Englert comes on, and Judge leads off. Judge has a 13-game hitting streak on the line, as well as a 29-game on-base streak. So Judge is 0 for 3 today. You know, if you're wondering, Simpson averages 3.97 seconds home to first, which is the best in baseball. But I used to read stories that Mickey from the left side was like 3.3, and Simpson looks blinding.
Yes.
I can't imagine Mickey being that much quicker than Simpson, but that's the stories you read. That one is driven into right center field. It's a base hit for Judge. It splits the outfielders, and it goes to the wall. Judge is going for 2, and he will make it. So a 14-game hitting streak and a 30-game on-base streak.
Well, he got a cutter from England and stayed up. He's supposed to be down and away. And he just takes it right into that right center field gap. It's a great swing right there. And it's going to get all the way to the wall. Nice job by Simpson playing that ball off the wall, but he didn't have a strong arm.
So here's Bellinger, the Yankees offense today. 2-run home run in the 6th, his 200th career home run. Hey, congratulations to Aaron Judge on being voted the Montefiore Einstein Player of the Week. 519, 4 home runs, 7 ribbies. Look at the OPS, 6 multi-hit games. I think we might change the name of the award. I mean, Fried is finishing a spirited second every week, but...
Do we know how many times did he win the Player of the Week last year, Aaron Judge?
On Montefiore or the American League Player of the Week?
American League.
1-1. James Smythe will look it up.
Yes. Pressure's on.
Now, when he hit his 200th home run, Bellinger, he became the 382nd player all time to do it. And he did it in fewer games than 277 of them, almost 3/4. 30th to hit his 200th home run as a Yankee. Three and 2. You can see Bellinger's just trying to get on. Yankees have 5 hits. The Rays 15. Rays lead 7-2. And he works a walk. Well, fans, check out some great new original shows on Yes. This Tuesday, catch the next edition of Home Plate New York as Yankees GM Brian Cashman and his daughter Gracie join a meal at Chaz Palminteri's restaurant in Midtown. And speaking of Gracie Cashman, she's the host of The Story of My Number, which premieres on Wednesday, May 14th, with an episode featuring Anthony Volpe. So Kyle Snyder wearing out a path from the third base dugout to the mound. Visits with Englert.
3 times Aaron Judge won the American.
That's
American
it?
League. Yeah, I thought it'd be more.
Wow.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So he won 3 Player of the Weeks last year and 3 Player of the Months. That doesn't make sense.
No.
If you're Player of the Month, you should win at least a couple Player of the Weeks. But he did win the big award, the MVP.
What do you think Lau's asking him? You might not stand in on that base. I'm already short enough.
Judge on second, Bellinger on first, nobody out. Bottom of the 8th inning, Yankees down by 5, and here's Goldschmidt. Fouled away. Goldschmidt's 0 for 2 with a walk. The Yankees need base runners as they try to make up this deficit. Bradley started, then Montgomery, Rodriguez, and now Engler. One and 2. Goldschmidt won Friday's game with a 3-run home run. 2 and 2 on the Yankee first baseman. Paul is 2 for 10 so far in this series. Line drive into left field. That is going to be in there for a base hit. Judge rounds third. He's going to score. Stopping at second is Bellinger. It's an RBI single for Goldschmidt, his 17th ribby, and the Yankees are now down by 4.
Well, Aaron Judge had a good read on that ball. He was basically stuck in no man's land. This is a sinker, a 2-seamer. Stayed up in the zone. Nice job by Goldschmidt. See, he goes right away thinking, okay, well, I'm already hung out to dry. I might as well try to score. And he motors in.
Yep, Goldschmidt gets a hit, and that knocks out Engler from the game as Kevin Cash will go to his bullpen to face Dominguez. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. By Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by Untuckit. Find the perfect fit today at Untuckit.com or more than 80 stores worldwide. Well, Edwin Uceda comes on. He of the exquisite changeup. 8 straight scoreless appearances. He will face Jason Dominguez. And there's that changeup for a strike. First and second, nobody out. Drilled deep to right field, giving chase is Meisner. He can't make the play. He'll have to play it off the wall. The runners can only advance a base, and the bases are loaded, nobody out. A bullet single by Dominguez.
Well, I was hit so hard that Bellinger had to hold up on second. This is a pitch up in the zone. See how close this was from getting out. About a couple feet off of that wall. There you see Bellinger. He's got to go back just to hold up. Not sure if this is going to be caught. No way he's going to score, especially with nobody out.
And Jeff, in a game where the Yankees feel as if they've been running underwater, in the 8th inning, the tying run comes to the plate.
Yeah, the first time in this game that they've been able to string some hits together.
Bases loaded, Escar at the plate.
high changeup, 1-0.
Well, a lot of changeups from, you said, it was fastball about 93, 94.
Tap back to Uceda. They get one on to first. It's a double play off the bat of Vizcarra. 2 big outs.
Well, that's that changeup down and away. You said a good play, get that first out, and Ortvet, good throw down to first.
So now runners on second and third and 2 outs, and here is your Bibas looking for his first big league hit. This would be a good time for it. Jumps on the changeup and fouls it back.
Well, there's that good swing. He was on it. Helmet fell off, everything. The chin strap for that thing.
Lays off the fastball. At AAA this year, a .319 hitter, 2 home runs, 15 runs batted in. He's 0 for 4 in his young big league career. Goldschmidt at third, Dominguez at second. 2 men out, bottom of the 8th. Swings through the change, 1-2. And he takes time. And the pitch stays alive. Bounce back the fastball.
Fastball at 95.
That's who the Yankees have on the bench. Line drive. It's his first big league hit, and it's a big one. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. Bibas with a 2-run single, and the Yankees have moved to within 2. Think he feels good?
He finally got it out of the way and did some damage with it as well. Oh, here we go. Another mound visit from the Rays. Well, he got a changeup. He went down and got it. This was down and away, and not a bad pitch. Goes right back up the middle. Simpson, not a strong arm. No chance at home to get Dominguez. There you go. Pumped up. Congratulations.
So he's got that baseball. Put himself in the baseball record books with a base hit, and Luke Weaver getting ready. And here comes Ben Rice to pinch hit for Oswaldo Cabrera. Well, the way I figure it, Jeff, I don't know if you figure it differently. This would indicate that Volpe has to come into the game for defense.
Yeah, because Peraza's going to have to slide over to third.
Yep. Well, they'd like a Rice long ball here, tie the game. Outside. You're so right, Jeff. That was not a bad pitch. That was a nice piece of hitting.
Yeah, that was good. He went down and got it. If you're Rice here, you know you're going to see changeups. You're going to have to try to make him elevate one.
Now you have Peraza on deck, and I don't think the Yankees can make a move. You have Wells on the bench, but it'd be tough to pinch hit for Peraza. I'm not sure if they had the personnel. Maybe that was what Snyder was saying, too. You know, be careful with this guy. See if they turn him loose on 3-0. Ball 4. Very careful with Rice. And because of the situation on the bench, it's got to be Peraza against Uceda.
Well, you say to the righties, he will feature a cutter every once in a while. He'll come in with the fastball, but again, a lot of changeups. That's his out pitch.
Ground it. Walls. Tough hop. He stays with it. Gets the force, and that will do it. But the Yankees put a 3 spot on the board. We go to the 9th. 7-5 Rays. All right, it's time to name that Yankee. And if you can't name him, let's talk. 328, 415 on base percentage, Hall of Famer, 12 All-Stars. It's Wade Boggs.
That might be the easiest one. If I'm getting him that quick.
Yeah. Boggs was just a magician with the bat. Had that inside-out swing. Took the ball to left field a lot. Won 2 Gold Gloves at third base for the Yankees. Won his only championship in '96 with the Yankees. Brandon Lau leads off the 9th inning. So here's what the Yankees have done. J.C. Escarra is going to play third base. Wells behind the plate. So that would lead you to believe that Volpe's not available at all. But if this was going to be your move, then you could have let Cabrera hit and then pinch hit Wells for Peraza, or you could.
Well, the only thing I was thinking, okay, Rice has the ability to tie the ball game up. Cabrera, he could hit it. He's got power, but Rice has more power.
Right.
Once you said it got behind Rice, it's like, okay, forget it. I'm not getting back in the count. I could walk him, and I'm going to face right on right. That's probably the reason there, especially with, you know, I would have done the same thing. I'm pinch hitting Rice, hoping that he can hit a home run to tie the ball game up. He has the ability to do that.
But you could see also they didn't pitch to Rice.
Yeah, well, once you got behind the count, there's no sense. He's like, I'm going to be careful, and I'm going to try to make him get himself out. I'm going to throw some nasty pitches away. If I walk him, I walk him. It was almost, even though first base was occupied, it was almost an open base for the Rays.
And it almost seemed like Cash knew that Volpe wasn't going to play today, so there was no way to pinch hit for Peraza. I don't know if you could cover the infield that way.
Right. Yeah, I get it. You know, Peraza, I mean, maybe he didn't because we thought that Volpe would have come in and you're moving Peraza over.
Right.
And then Escarra was just going to be behind the plate.
So Lau goes down on strikes. So in the minor leagues, JC has played 153 innings at third base. So he's not a total stranger there. Here's Diaz. Well, the good thing is that the Yankees sent 8 batters to the plate in the 8th inning. So they will have a chance against Pete Fairbanks with their top. It'll be Grisham, Judge, and Bellinger in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Yeah, they finally strung some hits together, scoring those 3 runs in the 8th. And they really haven't done that all series.
Seven-5 Rays. We're in the 9th. Rays led 5-0 after 3.5. Then it was 5-2 after 6, and they added 2 in the 7th. That made it 7-2. And the Yankees 3 in the 8th made it 7-5. Just fouled it off. Stays alive. Up the middle and through past the diving Peraza, a base hit
for Diaz's third of the game. Well, fans, the Gotham Sports app is your new home for streaming live Yankees games and so much more, and it's free with an eligible TV provider subscription. Download the Gotham Sports app now or visit gothamsports.com to get streaming. Well, here's Aranda, who's done a lot of damage. 3 RBIs, 3 hits, 2 walks.
Well, the Rays have left 15 men on base. They're 4 for 15 with runners in scoring position. So the Yankees are fortunate that they're only behind by 2.
Starting to rain a little bit again. Sky to left field. On the run, Dominguez toward the line. And he makes the play. It came back on him. Would have been a fair ball. And Dominguez puts it away.
Now you can almost see that he might have overran this ball. He was hustling to the line to try to get to the wall. And luckily he put on the brakes in time to make this catch.
6 putouts in left field for Dominguez. Here's Meisner, 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. 1-0. Seven runs on 16 hits for Tampa Bay. 5-8-2 for the Yanks. Two 2-0. Two and 1. Well, Carrasco is going to give the Yankees 3 innings out of the bullpen. So that means they would have only used Matzik and Carrasco in a start where Warren gave them 4 2/3. So the bullpen will be in good shape for the Padres. Popped up behind the plate, now to play. Three and 2. Meade's on deck. So 3-2, that'll allow Diaz to go, and Goldschmidt backs up at first. Swing and a miss on the change. And that'll do it in the top of the 9th inning. Well, leading off is Grisham. If he gets on, then Aaron Judge, who has owned the league so far this year, will come up as the tying run. Stay tuned. Top of the Yankee order, bottom of the 9th coming up. Well, fans, after the final, I'll get highlights, analysis, clubhouse interviews, and we'll hear from the manager. Plus, a look ahead to the series with the Padres. That's all coming up on the W.B. Mason Yankees postgame. 7-5, Tampa Bay leads. Meade goes to first base for Aranda. Caballero takes over at third base for Meade. And on the mound is Pete Fairbanks. He'll face the top of the Yankee order, starting with Trent Grisham. He has not allowed an earned run in 11 of his 13 games.
Well, big-time fastball, 97-98. 7th save yesterday. Fastball slider.
Well, he retired Rice, Goldschmidt, and Wells 1-2-3 yesterday for his 7th save in 7 chances. He has a 2.19 ERA this season, 2.74 in his career against the Yankees, including the postseason. Well, the Yankees need a base runner, and the count 0-2 on Grisham.
Throwing nasty slider like that for a strike, then you want a new ball.
Rain coming down a little bit harder now here in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rays have doubled the hits of the Yankees 16-8, but they lead 7-5. 1-2. And the pitch. Grounded foul. Grisham trying to work his way on. Judge on deck. And he strikes him out. Grisham down swinging, one away.
Breaking ball, slider at the top of the zone. There you see it locks up. Grisham. Looks like a ball at first, and then it drops right at the top of that strike zone.
So here's Judge, doubled and scored in the 8th inning, started that 3-run rally. Caballero deep at third, close to the line. And a strike to Judge. Judge's double in the 8th inning extended his hitting streak to 14 straight and his on-base streak to 30 straight. One for 4 today. And a strike on the outside corner with the slider 0-2.
Well, it's a good pitch. He can throw that slider for strikes. And then once he gets ahead, he'll try to expand the zone on Judge here with the slider down and away.
And Judge spoils it. On deck, Bellinger. And the 0-2. 1-2. Fairbanks, 31 years old, 7th big league season. Played for Texas and Tampa Bay. And the pitch. Couldn't hold up, goes around. And they'll take the put out at first base for the second out.
Well, Fairbanks has nasty stuff. There's that grip on that slider. You almost know it after that fastball upstairs. He probably wanted to come in a little bit more to Judge on that previous pitch. He just can't hold up. He'll throw it for a strike, and then he'll bounce it.
Well, the Yankees down to their final out. Here's Bellinger. 1 for 3 with a walk. Hit his home run. 200th home run of his career in the 6th. Taking all the way 0-1.
Well, number 200 right in his sweet spot. He just dropped the head of the bat. A 2-0 pitch. Big 2-run homer there in the 6th.
One and one. Paul Goldschmidt on deck. Keeps getting new baseballs, not liking the feel.
Well, he gave him that first pitch fastball down there, and then he called that one a ball.
One. And the Yankees down to their final strike. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. Yankees been trying to climb back, it seems, all game. Right now they are 2 runs short. Did he go? No, he
did not, said Charlie Ramos. 2-2.
All right, tried to back leg him with that slider.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the ninth. Strike 3, ball game over, and the Yankees lose 7-5. Fairbanks strikes out the side in the ninth, and the Yankees lose 2 out of 3 to the Tampa Bay Rays in this weekend series in the Bronx.
Well, all series, the Yankees had a hard time stringing at-bats together and stringing hits together. Fairbanks just has nasty stuff. That's his second save in as many days. If it wasn't for the 8th inning, really the Yankee offense disappeared in this series.
Well, they'll get their stuff and get ready for tomorrow. A 3-game set with the Padres begins, but we're not done. Come on back.